Give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahushua HaMashiach and John chapter 5 and verse 39. Don't look over this way. Just sit down and be quiet. Put your dress down.
It says, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they will testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him ye will receive. How can ye believe, which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that cometh from Elohim only?
Go ahead.
Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father, for there is one that accuses you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For had ye believed Moses, ye would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if ye will not believe his writings, how can ye believe my words?
Go ahead. Exodus 25 and 1.
It said, and Yah spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the children of Yasharab, that they bring me an offering.
Bring what?
An offering.
Bring what?
An offering.
Paul. When you hear that, Shayla, when you bring an offering, what you think he's saying to you? Very well then. Continue. I will accept that.
It says, bring me an offering of every man that giveth it willingly with his
Give
heart.
it what?
Every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, ye shall take my offering.
Okay, Paul. Anybody know what the word for heart is? You know what the word for heart is?
Left.
Well, yeah, sure. Thank you, Shayla. Appreciate you.
I ain't know you.
She didn't hear you. You know the word for heart? Y'all know the word for heart? You know the word for heart, D? Yeah, I know. I didn't know if you heard him. It's leb. Do you know the characters that would be for that? Just by hearing that? Leb. Leb. That would be correct. Yard? No, it wouldn't be yard. There you go. So if it's the lamad and the bat, what would that be telling us? Lamad means what? Bat means what? So there you go. You ain't have to look for that. You already know the answer to it. So that means it's the teaching that'll get you in the house. Would that be safe to say? Now read that verse again.
It says, speaking to the children of Yasharah, that they bring me an offering of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart.
So now if you're giving this offer willingly in your heart, that means you would have been taught to go in the house, wouldn't you? Now let's look at John 6 and 44. See, this goes to what we read in Isaiah 54 last night. We read something in Isaiah 54 that said your children will have great peace because they will all have taught of Yah. And after we read that, we'll read Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 7. John 6 and 44.
No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him. And I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets.
What does it say?
And they shall be taught of Elohim.
They shall be what?
Taught of Elohim.
Go ahead.
Every man, therefore, that hath heard.
That every man that is what?
That hath heard.
Now, if we say I've heard, what's the first thing should come to your mind if you heard? Not just that, but something else. That faith come by hearing, and hearing come by the word. So you can't believe the word unless you heard it. So therefore, he couldn't raise you up at the last day, and you couldn't come unto the Father unless you heard it. Go ahead.
It said, every man, therefore, that hath heard and have learned of the Father cometh unto me. Not that any man have seen the Father, save he which is of Elohim. He have seen the Father.
And he what?
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath everlasting life. I am the bread of life.
That's good. Hebrews 8 and 7. So he said, everyone who believe on him have everlasting life. See, we talked about that last night, right, when we were talking about the mayor. Deidre, do you remember the characters for mayor? That is correct. That is one of them. You got two more. You have the Aleph and you have the U. So when we look at that, remember we looked at that in the aspect of the power of the head joins you together to the Most High. So now you can't get eternal life unless you have the power of the head, which is Yahushua. Because remember we started in 1 Corinthians 11 looking at that. Then you can be joined together or made a card through the Ruach to the Most High. Without that connection right there, you're going to hell. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Go ahead. Hebrews 8 and 7. This is why we're looking at Hebrews 8 and 7. Because if you're not joined together, then what he finna say in Hebrews 8 and 7 has not been accomplished.
It says, for if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought out for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, says Yahuwah, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Yasharal and with the house of Yehuda. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand and led them out of the land of Mizraim, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, said Yahuwah.
Now remember now what we also, the other word we looked at was the Shamim, which is the Shan, the Meme, and the Nun. And we looked at it in three different ways. We looked at one, that you got to consume the blood of the seed, or Yahusha had to be consumed to produce this oil. We also looked at that the seed destroys the chaos, which means that same word will destroy sin. Or we looked at it in the aspect of being joined together of a power that can't be stopped. So if you're not joined together to the power that can't be stopped, then the oil cannot be produced. Continue on, sir.
We're at 10. 8 and 10 of Hebrews. It said, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Yasharal after those days, said Yahuwah. I will put my law into their mind, and I will write them in their hearts. And I will be to them Elohim, and they shall be to me.
So right there, that's the teaching that gets you in the house. Because let me ask y'all a question. When he made that first covenant with you, was you taught it or did you just know it? He taught it to you. And he taught it to you so you could get where? Into the house, into the land. So in order for you to get in the house, that means that teaching has to be in your mind. This is what the oil, this is what the Ruach is about. The word has to actually be in you. It's going to guide you to get you where you're trying to go at. If you don't have it inside of you, then you can't get to where you're trying to go at. Which is why you say that if you walk in darkness, you stumble and you don't know where you're going. Because you don't have a guide to get you there, which is the word. Continue on, sir.
It says, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahuwah, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and iniquities will I remember no more.
Now, we've talked about this before, right? It's people that believe because of this particular verse that the new covenant is not in effect. But we know better than that, don't we? Did you know how the new covenant is in effect, Shayla? How is it in effect? Because people say, see, right now people are teaching people, telling them to know Yahuwah, so it can't be in effect. But the key component to help you answer this question is, did he not say in that verse that your sins and iniquities he will remember no more? So how is the new covenant in effect? You can pass if you choose. Then just go ahead and answer it then. I've told you about this before. Don't be worried about being wrong. If you're wrong, so what? Well, she passed it to you, Deidre. Can you answer that question? Well, she's passed it to you, Mom. Can you answer that question? How is the new covenant in effect? Because he died and rose again. That is how the new covenant is in effect. Do you not remember what he said in Matthew chapter 26 and verse 28? When he pulled that cup out and they drank from that cup, what was his words? So it's in effect. So if we say it's not in effect, then what did he die for? Do we not know that Hebrews 9 say a testament is a none effect unless a what? So if he died, then how are we going to have it? We're supposed to have enough common sense to know better than that. What got the first covenant in effect? Who died to put the first covenant in effect? The Egyptians did. Because after they died, what did he take them and do? He took you in the wilderness and he presented you a covenant. So somebody has to die for a covenant to be in effect. You know what I'm saying? So if nobody dies, then until he died, then yes, the new covenant was not in effect. So what that death is, when it's talking about here in Hebrews 9, is telling you the giving of the Ruach HaKodesh. Because what does John 7:37?
John chapter 7, verse 37. It says, in the last day, that great day of the feast, Yahushua stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believeth on me, as the scripture says, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
What did it say after that?
But this spake he of the Spirit, of the Ruach, which they that believe on him should receive, for the Ruach HaKodesh was not yet given, because that Yahushua was not yet esteemed.
So it wasn't given until we ended last night looking at what did he tell his apostles to do after his resurrection? What did he tell them to do? What did he tell them to do? He didn't tell them to do that. He told them to do a few things. You know what he told them to do, Darius? I'm talking about, we read it in Luke 24 last night. What did he tell them to do? He told them to wait in Jerusalem until they were endued with power from on high. Told them to wait there. You know what I'm talking about? That power they received was the Ruach on Pentecost, wasn't it? So if they received that on that day, then the new covenant is in effect, according to what's written here in John. And according to the promises that were stated aforetime. You know what I'm saying? Because if we say the new covenant is not in effect, then we say we still in our sins and we have no access to eternal life. You can't have it both ways. Someone who has the Ruach, no, you don't have to teach them and tell them to know Yah. Why would you? We already seen from John 6, it's already in them. You don't have to tell them know Yah. What does it mean to know Yah? To know his name, to believe on him as the scripture has said, and to walk in Kadeshness. If it's in you, who needs to tell you to do that? You don't need nobody to tell you to do that. You hear the word like Paul wrote in his epistle to the Corinthians in the 14th chapter. Prophecy is for those who believe so they can have comfort. Not necessarily that they need to be edified more if they haven't received the Spirit. That's for their comfort to continue. I don't care how much words you got in you still going to need exhortation and comfort to keep going. If Yahushua himself needed to be strengthened right before he died, ain't a nigga walking tell me they don't need no strength and no comfort. And he was the word made flesh, so you can't tell me that. Wasn't he strengthened by Amalekite? So he needed it too. You know what I'm saying? So that's the purpose of it. See, prophecy is, like I said, it's only for those who believe. You know what I'm saying? Tongues is a sign. Well, tongues is for disbelievers, people who don't believe. You know what I'm saying? What is prophecy going to do for somebody who don't believe? That's where a lot of our people get it mixed up at when we talking to people about the word. You hitting off them with stuff that's not for them. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to get them, you got to get them with Yahushua. That's how you got to get them. You know what I'm saying? Because you hit them with some, and we're going to talk about prophecy today too. But if you hit them with prophecy, that's not for them. That's not for them. They're going to look at you like you stupid. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that, nigga. Like this here, right? You had last night all these, like I told them last night, right? There were people actually catering in the movie theaters to see the Black Panther movie. Dudes is literally walking around with whole plates. Now you think if you was gonna come to them with some prophets or some word that night, you think the people trying to hear that? You think they really gonna believe what you talking about and really care? I'm trying to see this movie tonight. You know what I'm saying? And after I see this movie, I'm gonna go do whatever else that I'm finna go do. But if it's somebody who believed the word and you bring that to them, that's going to give them comfort or edification, one of the two, if not both. Where we at? Hebrews 8.
John 7, Hebrews 8.
Come on back. Let's go ahead to back to Exodus 25. No, we already read John 7. Read the verse where we left from, which was the offer. You see how it is, right? This is so. If you sacrifice yourself, you're going to sacrifice yourself because we talked about that last night, right? Consuming the blood of the seed. Go before you read that. Give me John 10 and 16, 17. So, wasn't Yahushua taught the word? Everybody likes to quote that verse in Proverbs, right? Where it tell you train up a child in the way they should go, right? And they won't depart. So, if Yahushua had been slain from the foundation of the world, could we not plainly say that his father taught him the word before he manifested in the flesh? So if he had been taught the word, then he had already made a willing decision in his mind to sacrifice himself. We read Exodus 9 and 16 and we looked at the word for power. Does anybody remember what that Hebrew word for power is? Do you remember what it is? Does anybody in here remember what it is? It was koach. Can anybody tell me what characters that we would use for that? It's only two.
Oh, yeah, I
Kawak.
did see that.
The Kaf is correct, ma'am. So what would be the other character that we use? Kawak. That is correct, ma'am. So we have the Kaf and the Kot. And where did we look at it? We didn't use palm of hand. We used the work to subdue. So then Kot means what, Stanley? So it was the work that subdued, which caused a separation. Now, we know they said that he raised Pharaoh up for what purpose? To cause his power to be known in him. But it also said he would lay these plagues on Pharaoh's what? On his heart. You know what I'm saying? So what we looked at with that is, Yahusha was plagued. What was one of the ways he was plagued? You can take this one here. We'll pass it around the room.
He was played by becoming sin.
Okay. How was Yahusha plagued, Shayla? Huh? I mean, you could look at that because they lied on him. How was Yahusha plagued, Deidre?
Get this.
Plague just basically being afflicted. Because when you look at them plagues, they were afflictions upon the Egyptians. Oh no, you can definitely answer that one. You won't get out of this is not a hard question, ma'am.
I didn't say it was. None of the questions was hard. I just want to pass.
You don't have that option. It's hard.
What? I'm not ready to answer the question. Maybe I don't understand how you asked it.
How was he afflicted? His plague. What happened to him?
Go ahead.
Oh no, she's not passing this one here. You gonna give us something?
I'll answer the next question.
We don't even care if it's wrong.
Why you making it seem?
We just wanted to push you to do it. She doesn't want to help us out. She doesn't want to participate. Go ahead, man. Okay, when they beat him. Come on, Callie. Huh? Y'all should know the answer to this question very readily. Well, shoot, go ahead, Stanley. She don't help out. She got to answer that on her own. Yeah, it's on your turn. She done tapped out. Well, she mentioned the reed. We'll take slap. Slapping, no, that's two different things. They did hit him in the head with a reed, and then they slapped him later. I mean, that's you didn't hit that. Go ahead, Brittany. They pierced him in his side. What you got for me, young man? You got something for that?
They said he died for no reason already, basically. Well, he died for a reason, but he didn't have no sin in him. He died without sin.
So get that go along with her saying that they lied on him, or they spoke falsely on her, bear false witness on him. What you got?
I was gonna say the same. He said, "I'm gonna take the one they snatched his beard out."
Okay, they snatched his beard out. What you got back there, Glover? You got something for me? What happened to Yahusha? What is the plagues that happened to him? You next, Lee. Huh? It's a couple of them they ain't named. The biggest one of them all ain't nobody named.
No, he said that.
In his side, that's just different. That's something totally different.
I thought that was she pierced him.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, okay, that's when they took the javelin. Wow.
Oh yeah, I can see that too.
That's why it's,
I want to say the biggest one of them all was, did somebody talk about when they chose the rabbits over him?
okay, you take that one there too. What you got for me, Lee? That's the biggest one of them all. There's nobody mentioned. No, they hung him on the tree. No, that's the biggest affliction of them all. But you know the one thing y'all admit? When they spit in his face. When they spit in his face. And when they mocked him. Who can think of the two ways that they mocked him?
They mocked him when they put that robe on him. Somebody he the king of the
Yeah.
King of the Jews.
There's another way why they mocked him too.
They put that crown of thorns on his head.
That one too. But they blindfolded him and slapped him around and said, prophecy to us, Mashiach. Tell us who hit you.
Yeah, yeah.
That wasn't him that got stripped naked. That was somebody else. Yeah, but he wasn't butt naked though. There was somebody in Mark. They stripped him. He was butt naked. He ran off butt naked.
that was the little boy.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, but she out one butt naked. Another way, what he was afflicted when they tried to make him drink that sour vinegar. You know what I'm saying? But these are all the plagues that. Okay, and DC mentioned when they told him to save himself, which is mocking him as well. And all of these are the plagues that because what did Yahushua, give me John chapter 19, give me that verse there. See, the reason why I say you should readily know this, because it should be you should answer these, you should know every last one of them, you should be able to run them down. If you say you believe that man went through all that for you. Because I tell you right now, ain't too many people gonna do that for nobody. Niggas say they love their kids, ain't too many people gonna do that for their kid. You mean to tell me they gonna snatch my face off? Spit on me, slap me around, hang me on a tree, kick me in my chin, slap me with a reed? Most be like this here, son. I don't know, you going to jail.
I don't think I can take it.
I can't take it. I love you, son. I don't love you that much. Because a lot of people say they love their kids till a nigga put a pistol in your face, say take that bullet. You be like this here, son. I don't love you that much. The reason why people think that way, because of one thing, is self-preservation. There's not a lot of people willing to lay their life down for another person. I don't care how much you say you love them. You know what I'm saying? It's easy for us to say we'll do a lot of things till you face with that situation, unless you really, really solidify with that in your heart that that's what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? Because you got niggas out here who won't die for their homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Much less you talking about dying for people who don't even like you and that are diametrically opposed to you. Because he died for sinners, he didn't die for the righteous. So I mean, he died for people that his own law say he ought to kill. For what he stand for, you supposed to be dead. But I'm going to die for you. And niggas still go sin. That's horrible. That's horrible. Go ahead, man. When you think about it in that perspective, that's horrible. That's horrible. You know what I'm saying? That's horrible. That I'm supposed to kill. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say if you tread underfoot the blood of the son of Elohim, I'm going to come see you. Because clearly you didn't understand what you were doing. That's why he's offended by that. Because I was supposed to kill you. But instead I gave you life so that you could respect me. So that's why he said when he come back, he ain't got no talk. He ain't got no rap. Come on, man. John 19:7. Give me verse 5.
It said, then came Yahushua forth wearing a crown of thorns and a purple robe, and Pilate said unto them, behold the man. Then the chief priests therefore and officers saw him. They cried out, saying, crucify him, crucify him. Pilate said unto them, take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. And the Yahudim answered him, we have a law.
We have a what?
A law.
What the law say?
And by our law he ought to die.
According to what law, why should he die? Does anybody know what law it is that he should die?
They thought he blasphemed?
They thought he blasphemed. That is correct. That is correct. That's Leviticus chapter 24. My memory serves me correctly. Maybe about verse 10. He's absolutely right. That's why he was supposed to die. According to our law, he would blaspheme. Go ahead.
And by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. And Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid, and went again into the judgment hall and said unto Yahushua, whence art thou? But Yahushua gave him no answer. Then said Pilate unto him, speak thou not unto me. Knowest thou not that I have the power to crucify thee, and I have the power to release thee?
So guess what? So what is Pilate saying? Pilate saying, I have the power to make these things happen to you, don't you? But what did Mashiach tell him?
Yahushua answered and said, thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above.
So Yahushua just let you know that Exodus 9 was him. Read Exodus 9:16 for the people. Little Henry.
Taking it easy, treading light.
No, I don't want him to get caught up in that corridor. He's going to be treading crying because he's going to fall. 9:16.
Exodus chapter 9, verse 16. It said,
Give him 13 though. Screw it, we reread it.
It said, Yahuwah said to Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh, and say unto him, thus says Yahuwah Elohim of the Hebrews, let my people go, that they may serve me. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thy heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people.
Hold on, listen what he said. He sent his plague upon his who?
He said, the plagues upon thy heart.
And upon who else?
Thy servants.
And his who? His
people.
who? His servants and his people. See, that's the part of it we didn't look at last night. We're going to look at it right now, though. Who are his servants? If the plague is on Pharaoh's heart and Pharaoh is Yahushua, then who are his servants? It would be those who he sent to preach the word. It'd be the apostles. Because anybody can be a disciple.
That's the people.
Yeah, that's the people. Is lastly are his, what you would say, his disciple. We always got to make sure that we show a distinction from that, because anyone could be. Because Dorcas was a disciple. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can be a disciple. Anybody can't be an apostle though.
Man, woman, and child.
Man, woman, and child could be. Because I'm saying that there. Don't let no dude come tell none of you women you can't be no disciple, because that's a lie from hell. Because it says that Dorcas was a disciple. Y'all know who Dorcas is, isn't it? Old Tabitha.
She was around with Paul.
Peter rose up from the dead. She was dead. Said she, she looked out for poor people. Name was Tabitha. Made a lot of alms. Made clothes. Peter came through there, woke her up. She was sleeping a little bit. She had a long nap. Go ahead.
We have verse 14. He said, I will at this time send all my plagues upon thy heart and upon thy servants and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth.
That you may know what?
That there is none like me.
Why do you think Yahuwah would need to send these plagues on your heart? Not only just on the heart of Pharaoh, but the heart of his servants and his people. Why did you think it's necessary that he has to put these plagues on your heart? For you to be chastised and rebuked, for you to learn obedience. Remember how we read that in Hebrews 5 last night? What did he say? He learned obedience by the things that he suffered. Do you know what I'm saying? Pharaoh was supposed to learn obedience from the things that he suffered. But he did not. He continually hardened his neck to do what he wanted to do. See, Hebrews 12 tell you what? That if you don't receive chastisement, you're not a son, but you're a what?
Bastard.
And what was Pharaoh? A bastard. So if you're not willing to take that, so those plagues, those sufferings are supposed to cause you to consider. That's why he say if you suffer with him, you'll reign with him. You know what I'm saying? Or don't be ashamed of me, the prisoner of Yahushua HaMashiach, and take on the afflictions of the gospel. Because if you want, see, when that power was laid upon you and he chastised you and it affects your heart, then you'll know that there's nobody else on the earth but you. Can't nobody who ain't never suffered the sufferings of Mashiach and took them on could dare tell you anything about Yahuwah. They couldn't tell you nothing about him. How would they know? Ain't that's what he said you would know? If you ain't took them on, you wouldn't know. See, Paul made a statement, and we'll find it in a minute. Go ahead, let me find it.
We have verse 15. It said, for now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with the pestilence. And thou shalt be cut off from the earth. And
One Yahushua cut off from the earth? Go ahead.
And in very deed for this cause I have raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth.
And didn't he send his apostles to proclaim this man's name all throughout the earth?
As yet exaltest thyself against my people.
No, that's good. That's good. I'm trying to find this other verse. I can't find it. That's not it. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Let's pick this up at about verse 10. Let's sit back and look at how his servants had these plagues fall on their head. Paul said a lot of things happened to him. Let's see some of the things that happened to him. But before he read what Paul, can anybody mention any sufferings that happened to Peter? He got locked up. What else happened to Peter?
That boy got beat.
That boy got beat.
That boy got beat down.
Beat down. Y'all don't know that from Acts chapter 3 when they beat Peter them? And Peter stood up and say he gave praise to Elohim that he was counted worthy to suffer for. See, there ain't many niggas willing to do that. You get some of these niggas out here and preach that word, somebody jump on them niggas ready to fight back. And shoot. The boy got beat up and said, praise be to Elohim. We were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name. See, that's the difference. See, that's the difference.
You said when somebody do that, you retaliate.
You pretty much said, remember what he told you, you'll be persecuted for my name's sake. People will separate you from their company for my name's sake. They'll cast your name evil for my name's sake. So when you resist that, then you saying, I don't want that blessing, and my name is, we talked about this last night, right? Didn't we read in Micah how it said that the nations would be like a serpent licking up the dust? Y'all remember that? Where is that in the law?
Genesis.
Talking about the Canaanites.
No, when it said that in Micah that the nations would lick up serpent like a dust, ain't that what he told you that the devil would do? He would go upon his belly and eat dust. Do you know what I'm saying? So we know that Paul told us that their God is what? Their belly. So if they licking up dust like a serpent, that means their God was their belly. They went off their lust. They went off of earthly things. If you eating dust, what does that mean? You are the earth or you cursed. Because that was Satan's curse. See, Satan didn't get another shot. That was it for. See, let me tell you something, right? Yah is merciful, but he don't owe you a round two. You know what I'm saying? See, we get it in our mind, he owe you a second shot. So you convince yourself that. That makes you feel better about doing what you're doing. He don't owe you no second shot. Satan didn't get a second shot, and neither did Cain. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, you brought me an offering that wasn't right. I ain't accept it. He ain't cut him short. He killed his brother. You good, cuz you cursed. Ain't nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this curse too much for me to bear. I make it a little light for you, but ain't nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Satan deceived Eve. Look here, nigga. You already knew what it was, cuz. You gonna turn around and do that. Don't even worry about it. Just go on your belly, man. Eat dust. You know what I'm saying? Because on that point, if you mind earthly things, then your name is written in the earth. See, you want your name written well. If your name ain't written on high, you scarred.
The Revelation, he just cast him to the earth. If he ain't curse him, then he just said, go to the earth. You can't be up here. When he did it to Eve, you know, your bishop. Right? That's how you look at it?
I mean, you looking at something where he threw him out and say, you go down here and do what you do.
Y'all think he ain't really get a punishment like what you just said in Genesis when he deceived Eve?
Now, he got a punishment on you damned. Now, when I execute your damnation is at my leisure. See, a lot of times when he cursed somebody, sometimes he bring it quick, sometimes he bring it long. Korah caught his off the rip. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that king, he got his on the back end.
On the back end. You know what I'm saying? You don't never know when it's going to come. That's why I say because the sentence against an evil worker is not executed speedily, it's privily in the hearts of sons of men to do evil. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what you're supposed to think about. I could go commit a sin and then you look around and nothing happen. So then you be like this here.
Strengthened in your wickedness.
Then you be like, well, shoot, I can do it again. Because ain't nothing happen again. So then I do it again. And then you feel like you're straight. But guess what, though? When you commit a crime in real life, nigga be looking for Mr. Charlie. Nigga out here looking for Johnny. Because you know Johnny Law gonna throw you in the chain gang. You nervous. You looking around the corner. But then you got some nigga, they get locked up time in, time out. And they like this here, don't mean nothing to them. I'll go back. See, but guess what though? When you get out of when you go to hell, ain't no EOS day. You here for life. You think some people who got a natural life sentence wish they couldn't go back and change some different things so they wouldn't be here? See, ain't nothing like looking at somebody, I'm promised to you, and they release date say 99999.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Like straight them down. I done seen that boy. They like, why is you even giving me a game time sheet? What you giving me this for? Or basically you get somebody who got a Buck Rogers date, like it wasn't even no need for you to pass that over to me. I know y'all might not know that. That was a television show. He was in outer space. It was like 2034 or something like that. It might be actually the time frame we in now. You know what I'm saying? That's how old the show was. You know, it was in the 80s though. But that's what niggas say. You got a Buck Rogers date. I mean, you looking on that sheet and say 2055. It's 2007. You know what I'm saying? It say 2018. It's 2018. That thing say 2067. You ain't never coming home. Man, one of the worst things ever, man. I can remember looking at a 19-year-old boy in his eyes. I say, boy, what they gave you? He say 25 years. I said, God, I seen it in his eyes. He was crushed. What can you say to him? Now, yeah, he out here crazy, pulling a carjacking, but he caught more time than he done lived. That boy wasn't going to get out till, this was 2009, this boy wasn't going to get out till, no, this was 2004, so this boy don't get out till 2029. 2029. You know what I'm saying? He been down 15 years, he still got 10 more. He been down 15 years, he still got 10 more. But he can get out. You can't get out of here. See, he'll consider. See, that whole time he's sitting in that chain game for them 25 years, he could consider. Once you go to hell, ain't nothing to consider. Because you were supposed to consider before you got there. And you refused it. Go ahead. 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 10.
It says, we were fools for Mashiach's sake, but ye are wise in the Mashiach. We are weak, but but ye are strong, ye are honorable, but we are despised. Even unto this
We are what?
We are despised.
What else?
Even unto this present hour, we both hunger and thirst, and are naked, and are buffeted, and have no certain dwelling
That
place.
man say they hungry, they naked, they buffeted, they don't know where they gonna live.
And
This
they-
is servants now. Cause these players gotta be on their heart too. Go ahead.
And labor, working with our own hands, but reviled, we bless. Being persecuted, we suffer. Being defamed, we entreated. We are made as the filth of the world, and are of the offscouring of all things unto this day.
Let me ask y'all a question. What's some of the things that Paul suffered? He got stoned.
He got locked up,
He got locked up.
lied on.
Lied on.
He was made blind before
He got bit by a snake.
Got bit by a snake. Shipwrecked.
thrown in prison.
Still preach.
I know it ain't too many dudes gonna get stoned and get up and go preach the next day in the same city he got stoned in.
What?
They made a vow, said they was gonna.
They made a vow, said they were gonna kill him, and they wasn't gonna eat till he was dead. I guess them niggas died of starvation.
Then they swore out the Most High name.
Yeah, they swore. They took an oath. They swore. Kill this nigga. Let me tell you something, right? That's just like going out east, a nigga shoot you and you don't die, and you get out and you keep on preaching. You left the hospital, you pulled the pop, you got shot and left the hospital the same night and went right back out there. You know what I'm saying? Ain't too many people gonna see, and that's what we mean about. See, I'm gonna ask everybody a question since I got this. If you got stoned, right, and went to preach the word, would you be doing your will or his will? So I'm gonna ask y'all a question. I already asked them two the question. What you feel like from 0 to 100? Where's your level at to yielding yourself to his will? From 0 to 100. Y'all can share your answers if you will. I will not share them.
Like I'm about 85, 90.
Say 85, 90. Say, would you like to share? I'm giving you the option because I already know the answer. She said 75. Deidre, would you like to share? She said 85. Mark, would you? Callie, wait. What about you, Glover?
I can afford it, 'cause I'm going to now they all over.
He said that somebody gonna stone.
No. I said from 0 to 100. Where do you feel you at from yielding to do not your will, but his will?
Yeah, but if his will, then you get stoned.
I'm not talking about no specifics. I'm talking about you.
Oh, yeah, I'm probably 85.
What about you, Lee? Go ahead, young man.
Like 80, 90, depending on the affliction. You got afflicted, you know, in the 80s.
Kira say 95% for her. You know what I'm saying? So then for those of you that have something that's under, what is stopping you from fulfilling this man's will completely and submitting yourself completely? And you know what I'm saying? And you ought to be honest with yourself. Because why are you not yielding yourself completely to this man's will? Because that means it's a piece of you that still want to do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? And the example that we gave, you remember the example that we used when we talked about it?
What are you talking about? I'm sorry.
I'm talking about when we were talking about this.
Start off and I'll finish it.
But look though, I got a question about that.
Go ahead.
Like on the real. So this is just me being honest. So like when I think about being at a point where I'm doing his will, for me sometimes personally I feel like when it come down to like me doing my will, me doing his will, I look at it like little stuff like this. Like it be times where I feel like I don't want to do something and I don't do it. Not word wise as far as something that's right or wrong, but just don't feel like do it. Like sometimes I feel like I should come home and I should read more, but I might not do it. I might watch TV or I might play the game. You know what I'm saying? Would you consider that?
His will is that we seek out the book and read, but I can't. But if it's in your heart at that particular time, it's entered into your mind for you to go seek this man book out and read, and you chose not to, then you chose to do your own will and not his.
That's how I be feeling.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if that enters into your mind, then that's something
That you supposed to do.
that you supposed to go do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? See now, when we talk about doing his will, like the example I gave them is that if it came down to his will or doing what you want to do, what you gonna do? Because sometimes it ain't always about no sin now. Because the sin is going to come in because you didn't do his will.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, example. 1 Kings 13, right? What was Yah's will for that man from Yehuda? Does anybody know what his will was for that man from Yehuda?
He was supposed to go and not
He was supposed to go a particular direction. He was supposed to not go back the way he came, and he wasn't supposed to eat no bread there. So he didn't do the will of Yahuwah when he did what? Stayed there and ate bread. So he chose to do his own will and not the will of Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? That's what made it a sin. See, we look at doing his will. I ain't fornicate. I ain't get high. I ain't tell a lie. But you sought to fulfill your own pleasure or your own righteousness instead of his, which makes you just as wicked. See, Jonah did not do the will of Yahuwah. Go preach to and I think we did use that one. Go preach to Nineveh. I don't want to preach to Nineveh. I'm going to get on this boat. Don't worry about it. I'm going to have a fish swallow you up. I bet you're going to go around there. You know what I'm saying? And it took that plague to fall on Jonah for him to consider, let me go do this man will. You know what I'm saying? See, it wasn't a sin when he told him go preach. It became sin to him because he didn't listen. Because I want to do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? The biggest one of them all is Mashiach. When he was finna get ready to die, he said, you know what? Let this cup pass if it's possible. How many times did he ask?
3 times.
3 times. His will was to bend one. You know what I'm talking about? Yah's will, get up here on this tree. And what was his response? Not my will be done, but thy will be done. What did Mashiach say in John 6? He said, I didn't come down here to do my own will. I came down here to do the will of my Father. That's the mentality that you have to have. You're not here to do what you want to do. Who cares whoever asked you what you wanted to do?
Even though Yahushua said that 3 times at the end of his prayers, he said, well, let your will be done.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It doesn't. Whoever asked you what you wanted to do? Nobody ever asked you. How many times your kids done said, "Can I have something?" You done told her, "I didn't ask you what you wanted to do. Do what I told you to do." Well, how you think he feel? He not one time did he say, "Well, what you want to do, son?" "Well, Daddy." No, he didn't come in here and ask you that. He didn't ask you that. If what you want to do fits in his will, praise be to you. See, and that's the other thing we look. If what you want to do don't fit with his will you drop it? You know what I'm saying? Will you drop it? Do you have that much faith and trust in Yahuwah that you'll sacrifice what you want for him? Because if you're going to serve him, you're going to have to lose something. You're going to have to lose something. And see, we don't be wanting to lose nothing. See, and I think that comes from what they teach people on Sundays, that you can have everything you want and Yah. That's a lie from hell. You can't have everything you want and him. You're going to have to do his will. You are not here to do what you want to do. Who told you that? And why did you believe it? Because he said, here's the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep his commandments. That's the whole duty of man. This man told you, offer yourself as a living sacrifice. That is your reasonable service. That you might prove the perfect and acceptable will of Elohim. That's what you're here for. You're not here for nothing else. Guess what? You think Jose wanted to marry a whore? That was Yah's will. So guess what he went and did? He took and made his wife. You think that Isaiah might have wanted to walk around here butt bookie naked? You think that's something he wanted to do? Let me just walk around Jerusalem naked. 3 years straight. Butt naked. You think somebody want to walk around butt naked? Y'all told me to walk around butt naked, so butt naked I shall walk. You know what some of y'all, I got to put on some clothes. And he gonna kill you on the spot. Remember that story when he told that dude, smite me. And what did the dude do? I will not hit you. He died on the spot. He said, you disobeyed the word of Yahuwah. I told you to punch him in his face. He told him to eat dung. He told him, nah, I can't eat that day. He said, you know what? I ain't going to give you cow's dung. I give you man's dung. Because I ain't going to make you sin because you're right. I had to prove your heart out because you're right. But you know what I'm talking about? But you think about that. He told a dude to hit a man in the face. Nigga said, I can't hit him in the face. He died because he did his will and not his own. And guess what the next dude did? Punched him so hard he made him bleed. Punched him so hard he made him bleed. I guarantee you, if you seen somebody y'all told him to hit him in the face and he ain't do it and he died, I'm going to hit that nigga with 3 people. I'm going to lump him up decent. And that's the example of, this is when you talk about moving on to perfection and you're not stuck on keeping laws. You stuck on doing this man will. Everybody ain't doing this man will. What is the will of Elohim? That you believe on him whom he has sent. If you believe on him whom he has sent, then you're going to realize that he's going to make his power known upon you and those plagues going to rest upon your heart. And you're going to consider. And then that work will subdue you and it'll cause you to separate yourself. Which goes to what we were talking about last week, that you can confidently and firmly say, I'll never taste death. If you sitting back and saying you working at 80% capacity, 85% capacity, then you can't stand firmly and say that I'll never taste death. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to know that you working at 100% capacity, and that you speaking that in verity and in ruach, that you just not saying it. You saying it because there's actual fact. You know what I'm saying? Because Yahushua gave us, that means you willing to sacrifice yourself to Elohim every time. Not when it's convenient, not when you feel like it, every single time. Even when it makes you uncomfortable, even when it puts you in a bad position, even when it puts you in a low state. Why? Because it's going to go back to that light. Which is why we talking about that oil, the oil for light. To get you to that light, guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have the power of the head to join you together to the Most High, which means you'll give yourself up to His will. And that's the mind for, that's what it means we talk about having the mind of Mashiach. You follow, you listen, you obey, you suffer, you fear. It's not about you. It's not about you. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? What's the thing people always say about Mashiach? He hung out with sinners. No, he didn't. You know what I'm talking about? He taught sinners. He didn't hang out with nobody. What Elohim looked like hanging out with people opposed to him? The only person he hung out who was opposed to him was one man. And he had a purpose to serve. At that point, we got to say that the Father in heaven hanging out with sinners. He just tell them, come on up here and hang out. It make me no difference. You fornicate in the back. You laying with strange flesh in the front. It don't bother me none. Doggone Henry. We good in 1 Corinthians 4, man. Let's go back to Exodus 25.
John
What I had in John?
19.
Yeah, we've been finished that. We was looking at that John 19 to show that it was the Father using that power to make His name known. Because you got to realize something, right? When that power was on, now the name of Yahuwah can be declared. How is it declared? Because that goes back to what we read in Hebrews. The Torah is in your heart and your inward parts, and your sins been forgiven. Therefore, Yahushua is matter. Since I said that, give me 1 Corinthians 14, man. Pick me up about verse 25. 1 Corinthians 14 to 25. Because let me ask you all this question. You can answer it out loud if you choose. When people come across you, can they look you in your face and say, as the truth, Elohim is in you? Or do they think you a regular nigga like them? And you shouldn't even have to open your mouth. You know what I'm saying? It should be manifesting how you live. When they see you, they be like, oh yeah, God is in him. God is in her. You know what I'm talking about? And every single solitary thing that you do, they should be able to see, I know God in him. If it's not, that means you're not working at your full capacity. Go ahead.
14.
And 25.
It say, and thus are the secrets of his heart made manifest.
Okay, back now. 22 is cool.
It said, wherefore tongues are for a sign, not to them that believe, but to them that believe not.
Some of y'all ain't look at that like this is right. How many of y'all seen people speak in tongues when you went to church? What y'all thought about them people when they were doing that?
What are they talking about?
Faking?
Crazy.
You thought they were crazy?
You said what?
He said thought they were stupid.
Oh.
I ain't never seen it done live, so I could only imagine how I would have reacted. I probably would have laughed. Like, it cause all right? I don't know. Depending on how my mind was back then, I might have asked my mama, was he having a seizure?
Yeah. I got you.
You know what I'm talking about? Cause cuz is tripping. You got Tourette's, nigga? What's wrong with you? Go ahead, man.
It says, but to them that believe not, but prophesying serveth not for them that believe not, but for them which believe.
Mm-hmm.
If therefore the whole assembly be come together unto one place, and all speak with tongues, and there come in those that are unlearned or unbelievers, will they not say that ye are mad?
Mm-hmm.
But if all prophesying, and there come in one that believeth not, or one unlearned, he is convinced of all, he is judged of all.
Mm-hmm.
And thus are the secrets of his heart made manifest, and so falling down on his face will worship Elohim, and report that Elohim is in you of the truth.
As a truth. For such a small man, he got such strong lungs. Goodness grief. You should have heard him yesterday. He hit a pitch I ain't even think he was possible to hit. Notice that he said that when they heard that word, that they would fall down and say as a truth, Elohim is in you. You know what I'm saying? And now he was talking from the aspect of them bringing forth the word. Now you know from 1 Peter chapter 3, he said if a woman win a man, what was she supposed to win him with? Well, her husband specifically, her behavior. And then he would turn around and sit back and look at as the truth. Elohim. I done told you this before. The number one mistake that women in the word make is you try to talk to him about it or try to just live it. If you wanted that man to do it, how about you exhibit the behavior? If you have to talk a nigga into doing something, clearly you're not doing it well yourself because you're trying to convince him. How about you just convince him by what you're doing? That speaks louder than any words you can utter out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand why most women don't realize that. If you want a man to do something, if you just use feminine wiles, which is your actions, that'll get him more than you talking to him because they tune you out after a while. She nagging, I don't want to hear it. And you could be telling him right every single solitary time. He don't want to listen. If you show it to him, you're like, shoot, man, my wife be doing this, that, and the third. I need to go see around here what she talking about with that stuff right there, man. I've seen a market difference. I didn't even know how would that's all you got to do. And the reason why it's like, most men are like that, honestly, because they don't really want to take instruction from a woman, especially not about the word. You know what I'm saying? They find it distasteful. A woman coming to them trying to tell them about the word. They be like, you know what I'm saying? What's wrong with you? Now, simps, on the other hand, they don't mind. It's when you hear dudes say, I don't care about no woman teaching me no word. Something wrong with you, cuz. I ain't never dealt with no word, and I felt like that. No, I'm not comfortable with this. I ain't never had no problem with a woman teaching me nothing in my entire life, except for that. That's before I even knew what was in the word. I just something in my spirit told me, you ain't supposed to be telling nobody about this. You know what I'm saying? I don't really particularly care to hear that from you. Do you know what I'm saying? When you start to deal with the words, you see why. Because I was seeing an Instagram post where a lady said that women are born with the ruach and men got to be circumcised to get it. The dumbest thing I ever seen in my entire life. You know what I'm saying? You know why that's the dumbest thing in the entire world? Because ain't nobody born with the Ruach HaKodesh. You got to get that through faith. I wouldn't have no dialogue with my wife about no word, not if I'm not walking in it and she is, because that's not what the word teach her to do. If you married to a man, see, one, you dumb as a box of rocks if you trying to date a man to get him to turn to the word and he ain't in it. That got to be the dumbest thing in captivity for anybody to do. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, you're trying to convert somebody. That's not your job. You know what I'm saying? And you're really only converting them for your own selfish pleasure because you want this person to be your mate, not because you want their soul saved. Same for a man. That's very, very selfish. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go out and I'm going to convert you so I can feel better about you being my old lady. Because I know I ain't had no business courting you in the first place. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. Now, if you already married and you get the word and then your husband wasn't on it, no, you ain't supposed to sit down and talk to that nigga. He be like, where you going at? Going to Sabbath service. What you talking about? What y'all talk about around there? You'd have to come around there and see that for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Then when you come home and you deal with him every day, he should be able to see the fruits of the word manifested in you the way he might want to inquire more. But if you got to talk, baby, you need to read First Corinthians say you supposed to be my head, and that man ain't trying to hear none of that, especially if he a sinner. That man is not trying to hear none of that. He ain't trying to hear none of that. Matter of fact, I had a question to ask y'all that's like they said that's married. When the last time you prayed with your wife? When the last time you prayed with your wife? Yeah. Monte, when the last time you prayed with your wife? Glover, when the last time you prayed with your wife?
We can let look Mike.
Huh? That's horrible. Ain't any way around it. Do you know outside of sex that probably praying with your wife is probably the most intimate thing you can do? You know what I'm saying? You should pray with your wife every single solitary day. You know what I'm talking about? Every single solitary day. How many times a day you should pray? So when you get up in the morning, you shouldn't be doing the first. You shouldn't be worrying about brushing your teeth. You need to sit there. Come on, baby, because we need to go and face the east. That's the first thing y'all do when you wake up in the morning. With your wife, not pray, go off and pray by yourself and hope she do it. You know what I'm saying? When the last time you read with your wife? I'm asking this here because I had a question asked, something that was expressed to me. This is why I'm asking y'all this question. This ain't just coming out of nowhere. When the last time you read with your wife? When the last time you read with your wife, Martin? That's good. Glover, when the last time you read with your wife? I know the answer. I got to ask you anyway.
We read separately, but go over it together. The background.
That's a little different. I'm talking about not necessarily even just sitting down reading the word together. But that's cool too, though. But just sitting down reading the word together. The reason why I mention it, because what the book say a husband supposed to do with his wife? Nurture her. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of your obligation. And I'm mentioning that. You see how that's doing his will and not. See, your will might be like, I don't feel like praying with her today. That's not y'all's will, though. His will is, you ain't necessarily got to be able to instruct her, but you should at least be able to sit down and read with her. That's y'all's will, not yours. Yours be like, baby, I want to watch the game. You need to open up the book. You know what I'm talking about? I'm dead serious, though. And I had another question too, right? Most of y'all already met each other you're dealing with before the word. So I'm gonna ask y'all this question because this was said to me. I was thrown. I didn't know how to take it. I'll start with you because it was a woman's question. I already know I asked y'all this already. Don't you have to do it for the group? I can't win. That's your wife. Would you talk to a man strictly because he deal with the word and no other reason? You don't care nothing about his personality. Clearly, if they dealing with the word, technically they should have a godly character and then those things should emanate. But we know that that's not always accurate. You know what I'm talking about? But would you marry a man strictly because of the word and nothing else? What about you, Callie? What about you? What about Now I'm gonna ask y'all this question on the reverse, because I actually had a woman tell me she married the man who she is married to only because of the word and nothing else. When I asked her what was her rationale for marrying this man, she said the word, he's smart, he provide, and we can learn together. I'm like, because truth be told, 99.9% of the time, yeah, every relationship you into should be springing from the word, and that should be the foundation. But when you talking about marrying somebody, I got to at least know what your personality working with. Because I may not like your personality. Doesn't mean I don't like you. But I don't mean I want to live the rest of my life with you. Now, the reason we mention this because in the days of old, you didn't have an option. Your daddy told you, Nisha, this is who you married, and that's who you were married to, and nobody cared if you liked it or not. And you were going to go along with it with no problem. You ain't see Leah kick rocks and say, I don't want to marry Jacob. She took her behind right around him. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do that. See, now you have an option. You have a choice. See, most of y'all were married before the word, so the reason, like the question in line is, if you knew the word, you wouldn't be married to the person you married to now. 99.9% of the time, your mentality would have been different. And you would have been in different circles, and you would have been around different people, and you would have had different desires, and you probably wouldn't be married to who you're married to right now. And that's not disparaging who you married to. That's just the reality of it. You would have thought different. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who was in the world would have not appealed to you. They may have appealed to you physically, but you would have known they was a sinner, and that would have disgusted you. As far as being married to them, like, oh no, I don't want that. My mama taught me better than that. So the next thing I'll sit back and look at is if you wouldn't marry, if marrying them for the word is not the only thing, what else would they have to add to that, Shayla? Just for you, just one thing. You ain't got to run the list now. And providing don't count, because we know the word say they're supposed to provide, so that's a godly attribute. Because we know what the books, and that's cool, and I can dig that. What about you, D?
What's the question?
Besides, if we were moving the word, say, okay, they got the word. What's one thing that they would need to have?
What they would need to have?
To characteristic or personality trait or whatever the case may be.
They would have to be responsible.
I see. I can dig that. Cause see, it's people who say they in the word, but them niggas ain't responsible. We've seen it. You done seen it? You done seen it? I done seen it. I done seen it. What about you, Callie? Good work ethic. What about you, Nisha? Being polite. See, I will accept that one, but we're gonna need something else because that's a godly attribute too.
That's supposed to come to you.
And I can dig that. I can dig that. You see what I'm saying? I can dig that. What about you, Brittany? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? See, just because somebody could be in the word, they may not be family centered, though they should be. See, a lot of niggas get got. He in the word, girl. I'ma talk to him. That don't mean nothing. We all know that, don't we? Play with it if you want to. Cause get what? This woman here upset. Because the only connection she had to this man was the word, and she feel that connection broke. So what you got after that? You ain't got no. I'm talking about. It's a little different. I ain't going no deeper. Basically, the connection, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you weren't connected to this man in any other shape, form, or fashion. The word should be a good, strong connection, but just because you in the word don't mean I should marry you. From what they said, I'm like, shoot, he should have just been your teacher and not your man. You know what I'm saying? That's what he should have been. Because now you're miserable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, now you're miserable. Because you don't really like this person. You know what I'm talking about? You just got married because we believe the same thing. That ain't no wise thing to do. But people can do what they want to do. Come on, man. Where we at?
Was that Corinthians?
Yeah, we are. Let's go ahead and swing back to Exodus 25. You know what, matter of fact, now I asked the men this here, because we can't leave the men out. Okay, if a woman in the word, right? Let's say she a virtuous woman. Y'all remember what it means in Hebrew, what virtuous mean? Strong. She is strong. So she a virtuous woman, right? So okay, that's locked down, that's solid. What would you need besides that?
I would say probably self-driven. Right.
Self-motivated. Huh?
Self-motivated.
Okay. The reverse of what I asked y'all. No, the virtuous woman means she a strong woman. Outside of that, outside of her being in the word, what would you require? Go ahead, little Stanley. Oh, okay. I thought he was looking like shoot.
Got loyal.
Nah, that's you said strong.
No, we know that a virtuous is Kayil, so a strong woman. That's what in Hebrew you see virtuous woman means strong woman.
And she already got the qualities in Proverbs.
She already got the qualities in Proverbs. So she already cooking for the house. She already taking care of the kids. You know what I'm talking about? She already doing all that stuff.
I don't want to say the same thing you said, because I'm dealing with self-motivated too, because, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, because I tell you that everybody, nobody, y'all know the T.I. song, man. Don't nobody want no lazy woman. You know what I'm talking about? Flip the couch cushions, do something. Pay the cable bill, do something.
Come back to me, I think it's something.
You know what song I'm talking about on this? Y'all know, I know you know. You know what song I'm talking about? You don't know what song I'm talking about? I can't play it for you. I'll play it for you later.
I wanted a big T.I. fan.
That's unfortunate.
I'm not saying he wasn't nice.
Well, the song is "I Can't Be Your Man," and he talking in the background. That junk is hilarious. That junk is hilarious. That nigga say, "Come on, shawty, help me pay the cable bill. Do something. Turn the couch cushions over. Rearrange the living room. Do something." Because you got some women that feel like all she got to do is lay in here and toot her booty up, and that's sufficient.
That dope money might not always be sufficient.
That dope money might not always be sufficient. Go ahead, Darius. He would say a consistent woman. What you got from you?
Smart.
You want an intelligent woman. What about you, Monte?
Still trying to
Go ahead, Mike Love.
Well, then it don't matter. So you can mention the ones you like about your wife, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That nigga extra sappy. Give him a round of applause. Hey, I ain't mad at him. It's good for you to love your wife.
Well, can I ask what you, Derek, what you mean by consistent? I know the word, but what do you mean by that?
Just being like, you could do one thing one day and I just, you know what I'm saying? You just being consistent with what you're saying, your actions. You know what I'm saying? You know how you get complacent sometimes, so. Yeah, yeah.
Right, like, I know what it means, but I just want to.
She wanted to hear his perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Glover, what you got for me? I miss Lee back there, too.
Let me say like men be consistent. I just want to know what you mean.
Cause I like this here, like, you know, like for me, say I need a woman that can get money without me. You know what I'm saying? Don't matter if we doing something together.
He just need you a hustler.
Yeah, can you create something on your own? Do I have to hold your hand to help you do it, or can you do it yourself? You know what I'm saying? Compassion. And I mean, I have other ones besides that, but the main reason is if I die, you can take the business and keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Because it's built for you and the children anyway. You know what I'm talking about? So on top of that, I mean, you can't be a dummy. You know what I'm talking about? It means you have to be responsible. This means that means you have to have some type of leadership ability and organizational structure to run this here, because you're going to have to know what you're doing. Clearly, you should be able to know that because you running the house, which is also and honestly is one of the attributes of a virtuous woman, because it says she hustles. You know what I'm talking about?
I say something.
And that's cool. You know, some people like that, you know, and that's also a godly attribute, because the book say for a woman to have a quiet and meek spirit. But we'll take that, though. We will accept that. You know what I'm saying? Then, I know, like, for me, and this is different level, talking about godly understanding. You want a woman to be a woman of understanding. When you see a woman of understanding, that means she can understand your plight. She can understand what you're dealing with. She can understand what you're dealing with, then she can sufficiently help you get through it. See, some women are just there. They don't have the skill set to assist a man on whatever it is that he's dealing with. It ain't got to necessarily be nothing financial, just life period, because it's real out here. The man's supposed to have enough ability to help do that for his wife as well. You're supposed to be able to help this woman get through whatever y'all going through. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real out here. It ain't sweet. It ain't smooth. You know what I'm saying? It's numerous other things too, though. You know, you definitely want them to be a nurturer. You know what I'm talking about? But for most importantly, above all that, she got to be 100. Can't be no pump fake. I couldn't wake up every day and look at no fake woman. I'm gonna be disgusted. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't try to be like this here over here when we over here, and then you over here you acting like this here. Just be 100. Be authentic. That's the number one thing for me, honestly, though, after the husband thing. Be authentic. Be who you say. What you see is what you get. Be who you say you are. If that's not who you are, then don't approach me with that, because I'm gonna figure it out after a while, and then I'm gonna toss you out the window. Because I ain't gonna marry you first. I gotta find out if you're solid first. See, most people be rushing because they be horny. I'm being honest, though. Y'all know I ain't lying. Most people be rushing because they be horny. Look here, man. The desire to have sex ain't enough for me to get married. It's just not. It's not. You know what I'm saying? The desire for a companion, that's not enough, because this is a business decision. Regardless of how you want to look at it like that, that's what it is. This is a business proposition and a business transaction. You know what I'm saying? That means we here for life. Because ain't no divorcing. You can be mad all you want, you can just go in the other room. You know what I'm talking about? You come back when you calm down, because we going to work this out. Ain't no divorcing. That's not happening. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure you got what you want or what you can work with, and not what your eyes like. Come on, man. Exodus 25. That's where a lot of people get in trouble. How many of y'all done seen horror stories of people in the Word married to somebody, male and female, Russian? Not they didn't get along, or they just had, I'm talking about this nigga evil. Stick around here talking about, I need 3-4 more wives. Well, nobody nigga got married, cheat on their wife. How you preach the word, cheat on your wife? How do you nigga get married and have orgies and wife swap? Huh? This dude married a woman, killed her son because he said he was a homosexual. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I think he gay. We got to kill him to get the gay demon out of him. And married him for what? Because he was in the word. He got that spirit in his house. We got to get that. Nigga, kill your son and you help bury the body? Oh, you ought to be killed too. You finna help you kill my son, nigga.
You put him out, fool. Kill him.
Straight up. It was a Hebrew lady in Arizona about a year or so ago. The nigga she was with blew her brains out. Blew her brain. He in the word. He in the word, girl. He teach me script. And I married this nigga after 3 months. Shoot, prove that nigga out, shoot. You ain't gonna nigga get married because they be horny, man. That's the only reason. What other reason you got for marrying somebody fast other than you horny? You can't be that lonely. You were single before you met him, so you couldn't have been that lonely. So you had a fire in your loins. But it'll take you a cold shower. Don't get on Pornhub, though. Don't do that. Just go take your shower. Matter of fact, don't even take you a shower. Just go pray. Or pray in the shower.
Yeah, you might get in that shower.
Shoot, everybody know about Pornhub. Nigga talk about it all the time. Some of these niggas probably on Pornhub right now killing themselves half blind.
Come on, what you know about Pornhub?
Same way I know about niggas tricking on Backpage. Shoot, nigga, I do know niggas who ain't in the word. You know,
a lot of people, that one.
Straight up and down. I mean, I did sell crack one time. I've been around all types of swarthy types. You know what I'm talking about?
Swarthy.
Unseemly people. What you mean?
Swarthy.
Dark. That's what that means. The dark people. I had home with them niggas love watching porno. I'm like, something wrong with you niggas, boy. We know Stanley know about Pornhub. Praise the Lamb. I'm talking about in your past. Well, you were there watching tapes then. I'm going by what you told us. Well, you did tell us you used to like a lot of porn.
You did say you used to watch a video.
A video too. Hey, ain't no shame in that.
Don't be ashamed. Everybody watch porn.
Everybody.
I ain't tell you no lie. He ain't do nothing for me. Nigga like this here cover time good. I can't do this.
I get it a couple times.
I can't do nothing with this.
I'm sorry, no.
No, I didn't. I really did. I ain't buy no pornos, no Playboy.
He called a couple times and that's it.
It didn't do nothing like.
Yeah.
It didn't do nothing for me.
You know,
I mean,
twice a week.
not even once or twice, like never.
A couple times a year.
You know what I'm talking about? Like at the end of the day, you looking at this here. Now you horny, ain't nobody here. I don't want to beat my meat. You know what I'm talking about? Because then after that, you got to beat the meat shame. You better than this. I don't want to do this.
That was a shame.
See, you know a nigga about to beat they meat. Now they looking at it. You better than this. You better than this.
Don't say that was me.
Oh, you enjoy that?
Shoot, I'm asleep.
No, that's how them niggas be making them videos after them niggas beat they meat. Them niggas go to crying. You better than this. Niggas say they looking at that lotion, look back. But no, I never was into that. They ain't really do nothing for me.
On the bed.
Like even up the road, them niggas have all them porno books. I ain't look at it because nigga want a real woman. I don't want to sit here and look at that. I gotta use my man. I'm finna go lay down on my bunk. I got 3 more years. I'll be alright. But I knew some nigga got them porno books, went in that bathroom. I'm gonna use the other toilet. Cause cuz been in there for 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I know you're blind. Your wrist got to hurt. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that wasn't my thing. I ain't mad at nobody who wore it. That wasn't my thing though. My homeboy Snoop though, he loved it. Caught that nigga watching Man on Man one day. We rolled that nigga.
He loved that.
Cause it was funny. Not the video, but how we caught him. No. Well, I could hit his cousin too, cause we caught a cousin in the closet.
I would have told all these stories.
Hey, that junk is just funny though. It's not too many times you catch a nigga. You know what Chris Rock used to say? Nigga beating his meat, he looking around the room. Who that is? Somebody had the dope. Mama, that's you. And he say he can't get comfortable. Cause you know, nigga, that's the last thing a dude want. A woman may not care about getting caught. A dude don't want to get caught. That's the last thing he want to do is get caught. Yeah, we went. He in the room. He in the room with the dope shop. We come to the house and grandma like, oh, he in the back, baby. Oh boy, nigga done walked in the room, scar for life. Scar for life. Then we were like, where that nigga Jay at? Niggas, I don't know where that nigga at. Niggas in the closet. Like, how you do that? It's men in here. Go ahead, man.
We had 25.
Yeah, we were young, man. We were teenagers, man. Niggas were freaking. That's the same nigga I told the nigga we were finna watch Do the Right Thing, and that nigga could put a flick on.
Yeah, he told me. There's 5 y'all in the room.
There's 6 Sam niggas in here. This nigga talking about we finna watch a Spike Lee movie. This nigga cut on a flick. Man, I get up and walk down. Nigga, we like 13 years old. I'm sitting here with a whole bunch of niggas with an erection for.
5 guys.
Them niggas did that in prison too. Them niggas had them found flicks on the side of the road, and all you niggas want to sit over here in the back and watch a flick together. This the wrong place to be watching the porno. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not watching no porno with no 20 dudes, my nigga in prison. You know what I'm talking about? No, this ain't no good idea. Ain't nothing good gonna come from this. Nothing. Somebody gonna get him a look at. Shoot, I like boy vagina. No sir. No sir. Y'all know. I'm good, man. Come on, man.
Hey, come sit down. Eat your sandwich.
I'm seeing some strange things in my lifetime, man. Niggas do weird stuff.
That's a hard decision right there, bro.
I mean, I feel niggas in the chain gang, nigga like this here, they just want to see something, but nah, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass. Because they had a little TV, and they used to let us watch movies off the street, and where they set the TV up was right by my bunk, too, and you got 20, 30 niggas around here watching a flick, I'm finna go play basketball. Go do some dips or something. I ain't sitting over here. Nigga just sitting there looking like this here 20, 30 niggas. No, man. You gonna have to get that pressure off. Nigga, We in the county, niggas taking X pills. Ain't no women in here. I don't want no X pill in the county. Ain't no but men in here. Screw that. 25 and 3, man.
It said, "This is the offering which ye shall take of them: gold, silver, and brass, and blue and purple, and
Gold,
scarlet,
silver, and what?
And brass."
Paul, 2 Timothy 2 and 18. When y'all think about gold in the word, what you think about?
Tried as gold.
Indeed. When you think about silver, what you think about? I can understand the trumpet. What you think about when you hear the word silver according to the text?
Shekels.
He told you he'll refine you as silver is refined in the furnace of affliction. See, he mentioned what Peter said about the trials of gold. But the prophet Isaiah is the one who said it. He said refined silver. Yeah, 2 Timothy 2 and 18.
My bad.
You good.
It says, "Who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is past already, and overthrow the faith of some. Nevertheless, the fountain of Elohim standeth sure, having this seal, and Yahuwah knoweth them that are his, and let everyone that nameth the name of the Mashiach depart from iniquity." But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth.
Reason why we reading that, because those vessels that he talking about, that gold and that silver, is in this house. Because that's what Exodus 25 is talking about. It's talking about the offerings that are brought in the house. And in that great house, gold and silver is brought into it, which is an offering. Do y'all know he tells you that, sacrifices, he said the sacrifice of the wicked is what? It's an abomination. He said, how much more if they bring it with a wicked mind? See, sometimes we feel like we made a sacrifice for Yah, but Yah's not going to accept it because, number one, you wicked, and your mind was wicked and forth of doing it. Can anybody think of anybody who did a wicked sacrifice, that made a sacrifice, but they were wicked? Saul was definitely one. Because he came back with them lambs and them oxen that he was supposed to kill when he went to Amalek and thought that he could make this sacrifice. That's what he said. We can make a sacrifice to Yahuwah. What Samuel had to tell him? Obedience is better than sacrifice. So the sacrifice of the wicked is detestable in the eyesight of the Yahuwah. See the example. I don't eat pork, but you fornicate. So that sacrifice that you completed was an abomination to him because you did it with a wicked mind. Because, okay, you don't eat pork, but you tell lies. You know what I'm saying? You don't eat pork, but you got a malicious heart. You see what I'm saying? That's not a sacrifice he's going to accept. You know why? Because that sacrifice got a blemish in it. You understand what I'm saying? That makes sense? Come on, man. That there, Mordecai?
It says, "If a man therefore shall pure himself from these,"
if he what?
He pure himself from
purge yourself.
Purge yourself from these. He shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work.
See that all those things that were being brought into the house in Exodus, they were what? They're prepared to be used in the house. So if you want to be used, and that goes back to the layup, right? The teaching to get you in the house. If you want to be used in the house, then you have to cleanse yourself. You have to make yourself pure. And you know why we read that? You know why we read that? Because that is what in the television world they call a segue. Go to Exodus chapter 27, verse 18.
It says, "The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, and the breadth 50 everywhere, and the height 5 cubits of fine twined linen, and their sockets of brass. All vessels, all the vessels of the tabernacle, and all the service thereof, and all the pins thereof, and all the pins of the court shall be of brass. And thou shalt command the children of Yasharah that they bring the pure olive oil."
The pure olive what?
Pure olive oil.
What else?
Beaten
for
the light.
For the what?
The light.
For the what?
The light. To cause the lamp to burn always.
Pause. Now what was the word for oil, Shayla? You did. So my apologies. And Deidre's out the room. And Lisa's not here. That word was shamin. Remember? The shad, the mem, and the noon. So he said that it's for the oil, right? And it says the pure olive oil. The word for pure in this verse is zak. So, what characters will we have for that?
What's the word?
Zak. Z-A-K. Zak. And the Zayin would be what? Do you remember what it means off the top of your head?
Yeah, the Zion is the cut, the seed.
What else besides
The
cut?
harvest.
The harvest. What else? We want to hit them all for those who don't know. To nourish.
Nourish. Cut. Yeah, to be fruitful.
So when we look at this right, it's got to be the pure olive oil. So if we're looking at the harvest, the food, the dig, to be fruitful, or cut off, or weapon, or nourish, which word do you think we should use? This is the pure olive oil beaten for life. So do you think which words do you think we should use, Sarah? A weapon. What you think we should use, Will?
Probably the cut.
Cut.
Beaten.
What you think you should use, Darius?
I was gonna say, he said the cut.
Cut. What about you, Monte? What you think we should use? We looking at the Zayin. This word is Zak. So we're gonna have the Zayin and the Kat. Zayin means a plowing tool to harvest food, to dig, to be fruitful, to cut off, a weapon, or nourish. Looking at the context of the verse, it says that you need pure olive oil beaten. So really the context that we're looking at is pure olive oil. So this oil from this olive needs to be pure. So you say he's looking at nourish. That's what we sit back look at. When we take the words and we spell them and we see the message that come out what we spelling, we need to take the context of the definition of the word, which I didn't mention. Zak means to be pure or to be righteous or to be clean. It's a different word for pure, which is tahor. So this word is not used in a lot of different places. So when we look at the context of the verse, it says it's pure olive oil. We don't want to look at the beaten part because that's kind of separated from the context of what the pure is talking about. It's talking about the olive oil. So when we look at it in that context, a plowing tool to harvest, food to dig, to be fruitful, to cut off, a weapon, or nourish. Looking at that context, which meaning you think we should use? And I'll let you know, it's not a right or wrong answer when it comes to that.
I put the words in the chat though, too, so you can see them.
Yeah, I know you got your words. What you think we should use for that, D?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're talking about the word Zak, which is pure. And the characters for it is the Zayin and the Kat. So what we're looking at is what meaning for Zayin will we use in the context of pure olive oil. And no, we're not worried about the Kat. Each Hebrew character means something. Most of them have multiple different meanings. So if the meaning for Zayin, Nisha, is it's a plowing tool. It also means to harvest. It also means food. It also means to dig. It also means to be fruitful, to cut off, a weapon, and to nourish. Which we're looking at the context of we talking about pure olive oil. Cut off. See, that's cool. What about you, Monte? What'd you say? To nourish. So we got two nourishes, and you said cut off too, right? No, you said weapon. You got cut off. Give D a moment. What about you, Stanley?
Zayin.
To be fruitful? The Zayin is what we're looking at. Oh, Exodus 27 and 20. Brittany, you got an idea what we would use for that? Now, of course, cot, we already know what we're going to use. That's separate, that's divide, fence. It ain't no, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Don't really matter.
Straightforward.
Yeah, that's pretty much straightforward. Ain't even no need to ask about that one. Nourish. And I would go with that as well. Or to be fruitful. Because that pure olive oil is going to produce what? According to the verse. Life. You know what I'm saying? So the olive oil being beaten is going to produce something. That would be the cot.
Because you got to think, it's the two words, so you got to look at what's going to go together. Because if the second word is to separate or cut off, separate or divide, you don't want to use cut because the word is oil and it's in the context of the verse.
Because then if we take an oil, which we already discussed, which is the shamin, which is the shin, the meme, and the noon, and we went through that one, and that one is telling us either the consuming of the blood of the seed or the death of Hamashiach, Well, that's who you can fit in, and that would be the beaten part when you're talking about the oil, and that's where a cutoff would come in at. Or you'll look at another meaning. You can look at it with the same word, is the seed destroys chaos, and then another meaning from that. Because like I say, it's not really a right or wrong. What you're looking at is the verse, the meaning of the word, the definition of the actual word, and then you get the context of which meaning you would choose for that character. So you want to look at, those are the three elements that you use, and it's not necessarily always going to be, oh, you're wrong if that's what you got from it, because you could go in different directions. But see, like he mentioned, in this particular thing, the cutoff is not going to be able to give us something that we could get something from, because it's talking about something that's pure. And then because it was pure, then you have the oil, and then the oil was beaten, and then it brought forth light. So we looking at what was pure was nourishing a separation, which caused it to be consumed, caused its blood to be consumed, which gives us light, which is the power of the head, which joins us to the Most High. Because the word for light is Maor. You know what I'm saying? And Maor is the Meme, the Aleph, the U, and the Rosh. The Ma'im in that one we use in power or strength. For the Aleph we use in head. And for the U, we use in join together. And then for the Rosh, we use in the Most High, or the highest, or the first. So that's why when we get to that light part, we looking at the power of the head joined together to the Most High, because the oil of the Shamun, which is the consuming of the blood of the seed, or the consuming of Yahusha, because he was pure, because he was nourished, or he was fruitful, and he was separated. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we send back to look at. You see, this is the process to get us to the light. Because what does the light represent? John 1 and 3, sir. So what we dealing with to get from oil, because you need oil to make light. Can you? And we talking about the ancient time. Because you have light without oil? No. So in order for you to be joined, for the power of the head to join you to the Most High, you needed him to be consumed. You know what I'm talking about? But before he was consumed, he had to be nourished so he could be separate. Which goes back to what I was talking about, train a child up in the way that he should go and he will not depart. He was already taught what to do. So he was separated to be the son of Elohim. That's why he said, you say I blaspheme because he whom the Father has sanctified says that I'm the son of Elohim. He was already separated for this purpose. He was separated for the, and that's where the beaten part come in at, where we were talking about the plagues that was on him that entered into his heart. Because see, it's got to be, and in order for you to make that pure oil to turn into light, you have to be afflicted. You have to suffer. And that's what people try to buck and try to get around. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, somebody, now they literally did beat him. So we talked about that already. But nobody has to literally come and beat you up. Y'all forbid, but if it did happen, praise be to y'all, somebody beat you up for the word. Blessed be you. I hope nobody don't come and punch you in the face, but take it with a smile. John 1 and 3.
It says all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men.
So that light, that's the life of men, is what actually does what? It joins you to the Father. And you need him to be joined to him. This is what he's saying, oil for light. So in order for you to get joined to the Father, he has to be consumed. Which goes back to what we read in Hebrews 8, why we can't say the new covenant is not in effect, or Yahusha died for nothing. And then truly we are men most miserable. And you know, we eat and drink and tomorrow we die. Continue on, sir.
It says, and the light shineth in darkness, and darkness comprehended not. There was a man sent from out.
Now notice, what do y'all think he mean when he say the light shined in darkness, but the darkness didn't comprehend it? What did
They didn't comprehend it.
say that once they wouldn't receive it?
Yeah.
Those are good answers. Let's go to Job 24 and 7.
It says they caused the naked to lodge without clothing.
Answer this question, y'all. Who calls in the naked to lodge without clothing? And what is the clothing?
False preachers.
I'll give you that. False prophets, scribes, the Pharisees. Because I want y'all to remember something, right? Let me ask y'all a question. Y'all should know the answer to this question. When he said, we did many wonderful works in your name and cast out devils and prophesied in your name, but he told you, depart from me, I never knew you. Who was he talking about?
Talking to us.
He talking about us. You know what I'm saying? The reason I mention that, because you know, what do most Hebrews say he talking about? And he ain't talking about no Christians. He was talking to Yahudim. He was talking to Bruce. So he don't care nothing about no Christian. Remember what we read last night when he said, y'all come at me as a thief? What did that mean? What? So no, considering that we looked at the word thief last week, when he said that, what was he saying? Who remembers the word for thief? Or at least who remembers what the word thief meant when we spelled it out? Remember, it meant that somebody was carrying away the seed from the house. So they were coming at him. He said, y'all coming out against me like a thief, like I'm carrying away people from y'all. But remember how we read in Jeremiah 23, he said the false prophets are doing what? Stealing my words one from another. Y'all carrying people away from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at they causing the people to be without clothing, is because they're stealing your opportunity to be covered with the Ruach. And they're stealing that opportunity because they desire the praise of men. They desire to rule over people. Because what did he say in Matthew 23? He said they're not seeking to enter into the kingdom of Shamahim, and they're not allowing you to enter into it. They said they're making you too far more the child of hell than they are, because their objective is to not have you clothed. Because we talk about it. What is it? Well, I talked that with y'all. Job said I put on righteousness as a robe. He said to find, and when you read Revelation chapter 7, all them people standing before the throne, what were they clothed in? White robes with palms in their hands. What did Mashiach tell you? You better not get caught being what? Without your garment. Because if you're naked, what are you actually? Your sin is exposed. Your sins are not covered. When Mashiach died, what did they cover him with? A white linen robe or cloth. Covered up his shame, or covered that. See, that was an example of when he died, that he was covering your sins. Because he was made sin, they covered it up. And what did they cover it up with? White linen. Why white linen? Because that's the righteousness of the Kadeshim. He manifested his faith when he got up on that stake and died and humbled himself and did his Father's will and not his own. And that take you to why Job say, I put on righteousness as a robe. You know what I'm saying? So when you put that on, and that leads us to the Romans 13 and 14. Put ye on Yahushua HaMashiach and make no provisions for the lust of the flesh to fulfill them thereof. So you have to put him on, and that's what will cause you to operate at 100% capacity to do this man's will and not your own. See, we don't put him on. See, just like this here. I like his shoes. I wear his shoes. I like that shirt. I wear that shirt. I don't like the pants. I don't want to wear that. That's basically what we're doing, because you picking the parts of his outfit you want to put on. I like the golden girdle. I don't like the sandals. My feet get dirty. You know what I'm saying? So like saying we talking about that's if you want to become like him and receive that gift. Now if you don't want to receive that gift, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. And also too, because I know how a lot of us look at doing his will is I ain't breaking no commandments. When we talking about wholly giving yourself and submitting yourself to another person. And again, in the aspect of how the word teach you when you're supposed to be married, that's what a man's supposed to do to his wife, and that's what a wife's supposed to do to her husband. And that's how a marriage is supposed to be the manifestation of the kingdom of Shamahim on earth. You know what I'm saying? Because if you serving your wife, then you're yielding to her will. Because you're putting her desires, or more importantly, her needs before your own. You know what I'm talking about? And then she's serving you, because that's what Yasharah was supposed to be doing to Yahuwah, is serving him or yielding themselves under his will. Because I say, dudes love that part, why submit to your husbands, because he says that first in Ephesians. But niggas don't like to look at that part when he say, husband, love your wives as he loved his wife, which means he served her and laid his life down for her. Nourish her, cherish her, honor. That means you're supposed to be feeding this woman. You got to feed her son. You don't need to be trying to feed her your penis. That ain't nothing. Anybody can do that. That doesn't take any effort to do that. Which is meaning why you shouldn't be rushing to get married, because you're horny. You know what I'm saying? Because then you'll be married to a devil, unless you want to be married to a devil. Then by all means, marry your like. You know what the law say? What the law say? Everything after its own kind. Do you know what I'm saying? So if that's what you like, marry what you like. Shoot, you like the devil, marry the devil. And then you have to look at the aspect of it. If you don't never be joined to no person in this life, as long as you joined to Yahuwah, what does it matter? What good is it to be married and go to hell? Or be single and enter into his kingdom? That's the same way we talk about what good is it to be vegan and healthy but die and go to hell. It's going to be some people who vegan and they body good and healthy and they going straight to hell. And it's going to be a nigga who ate at McDonald's every single solitary day. And he going to say, enter in, my son. And that vegan going to be looking at how he got in. Because he believed and obeyed me like you didn't. Get that nigga out my house. See, we don't look at it in that aspect because we want our will to be. I've had people tell me you more spiritual if you vegan. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. But like I told that woman, whatever I eat goes in my mouth, into my belly, and out my anus. So ain't nothing spiritual about it. Whatever you eat turns to poo. I bet you that. And one thing for certain, two things for sure. Who gonna be pooping in the? You think you gonna be pooping in the place look like pure gold? I made it look like transparent glass. I don't think nobody gonna be pooping around them. What he told them to do in our law if they poop what they were supposed to do? But what they supposed to do to that? Outside the camp. So you think you finna come in the camp taking dumps? Come on, man.
That ain't what the book says.
That ain't what the book say. So you worry about not to say to you, and nothing wrong with being vegan, ain't nothing wrong with being healthy. By all means, if that's what you want to do, I encourage it. But don't tell me you're going to get in Yah's kingdom because you do it. I ain't seen a vegetable yet, pure man heart. I ain't seen them. I ain't seen that. Niggas atheists that's vegans, nigga. It's Satanists that are vegans.
And Buddhists and all
All other stuff. I ain't seen a fruit yet get a man a ruach, because shoot, everybody in the world to eat it. Everybody in the world to eat it. Boy, if an apple could get you the ruach, they couldn't keep no apples in the store.
People don't want it that bad.
They don't want that shit. It can say on the bag, you can live forever, you eat this apple. And they be like, shoot, I don't like apples.
For real though. The book says all day.
Huh?
They ain't do it.
They ain't gonna do it. I done had a woman, the Adam and Eve diet. That was the original diet, and they died, baby. They died. You realize that? They died. 2 times, too. Yeah, that's what they say. That was the original diet. It wasn't until after the flood he gave us meat. So what? He gave it. I'ma chew it. So lives. I don't care how a nigga feel about it. I seen a dude say you sinning if you eat meat. See, on the very thing we were looking at with that flesh and numbers. Y'all the one gave him the quail, dummy. Why would y'all turn around and give you something that you ain't supposed to eat? Now you done said he unjust. You ought to go to him for disrespecting him. You know, but by all means, be as healthy as you possibly can. But don't think that eating good not gonna spare your soul. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas feel like they put a dashiki on and put a turban on and wear some sandals with their feet out. Them niggas righteous. That don't make you righteous. It's on the inside. Put him on. Don't put no shoot. You see them Hebrews out there on the corner, niggas around there with a throw rug on and a carpet, bed sheets. Niggas man around here making garments out of bed sheets. And you think you righteous because you got a because you bought that from Walmart, nigga. Come on, man.
You done with John 1?
Yeah, we Job 24:7, where you should be at. We were talking about that clothing. Don't get caught naked now, because these people trying to get you naked.
Job 24:7. They cause the naked to lodge without clothing, that they have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains, and embrace the rock for want of the shelter.
What verse is that when you talking about embracing a rock for want of shelter? Yeah, when the people hunted up under that mountain, cover us. But also you can turn around and you can look at it as that rock being Mashiach, and you want to have shelter in him. But in this aspect, the context what we're looking at, he talking about wicked people. So go ahead. He talking about wicked people. Come on,
They
man.
pluck the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge of the poor.
What does it mean to take a pledge of the poor? What does it mean to take a pledge from the poor?
Like they try to set them off, but
Yeah, a pledge is something that you take for a debt.
yeah, like putting their brothers into slavery, pretty much.
24 and 10 or 24 and 9. So you know what that pledge is? If we take that to Mashiach, what is this pledge? What is the pledge? It said they take a pledge of the poor. Knowing poor means the humbled or the afflicted. They pluck the fatherless out of his bosom. No. We already read John 19. When Yahushua became sin, Yah turned his back on him. That made him fatherless. So therefore they plucked him out of his bosom. The pledge is, they said, what will you give me? And I will give him to you. Because they say you took a pledge for the poor. What did Judas take to give this humble man to these people? That's silver. He took that. And the reason why I'm mentioning that, because in John chapter 16, right, he tell you that people will kill you and think they doing Elohim service. So the people who going to kill you and persecute you and slay you are going to be the very people who say they believe what you believe. See, we don't even look at it. See, I done told you before. You so worried about the white man killing you, and you worry about Arabs killing you, when it's going to be your own kind who profess to believe what you believe. They going to be the one who killed the prophets, not now Gentile. Not now Gentile killed now prophet. Who screamed for Yahushua to be crucified? It wasn't Pilate. It wasn't no Romans. The Romans didn't even care. That ain't had nothing. They looked at this, them nigga problems. That's black on black crime. They didn't care. You think Bruce was walking around talking about, oh man, Herod just killed 10 people today. That's white on white crime. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's what I would tell you last night. I sympathize for the white folks in Florida down south for having their kids killed, but that ain't had nothing to do with me. That's white on white crime. That was a white boy who killed white people. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just being honest though. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Because conversely, if a nigga go through the hood, put it this way. Back in the day when them Kirkland boys got killed, when these niggas I knew went around there and shot that car with that AK in the early 2000s, them white folks ain't care nothing about that. That was black on black crime. You know what I'm saying? When them 10, 20 light boys was doing what they were doing in Pearl World, the white folks ain't care nothing about that. That was black on black crime. You want to know another example? When niggas was on crack, wasn't nobody talking about it's a mental health issue. They need treatment. When white folks got on heroin real bad, we don't need no locking up. We need to give them treatment. We need to get them help because it's a white issue. It might sound cold when you say I sympathize with them because these people died, but I'm not concerned with it because that's white on white crime. They ain't got nothing to do with me or my people.
That's how they feel.
They ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Not to the point where I'm finna be broke down and sad about it and y'all need to have gun control and y'all need to do this because that's white on white crime. Because they're not concerned with black on black crime. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? They feel like that's the monkeys. Let the monkeys exterminate each other. The only people who care about black on black crime is us. You know what I'm talking about? But guess what white people want you to do? They want you to sympathize with them. When them kids got killed at Sandy Hook, that was unfortunate that all them little children got killed, but that was white on white crime. That Boston Marathon bombing, that was white on white crime. That shooting at Vegas with that buddy, that was white on white crime. It might have been a handful of black people out there. Y'all don't even remember that shooting, do that? That just happened. People forget. There wasn't no black people out there. That's white on white crime.
Nah, the person who said they thought it was two shooters, they offered.
They might have did. Well, common sense tell us it couldn't have been one man doing all that shooting. They always gonna disappear. You know what I'm saying? But my point of the matter is, see, if you say something like that, a person will automatically think that you're being unkind or uncompassionate. I sympathize with your pain. I really do. But did you sympathize when they killed Malcolm X, nigga? Did you sympathize when they killed Huey Newton? Did you sympathize when they killed Fred Hampton? Absolutely not. Was them Romans sympathizing when Yahushua died? Absolutely not. Shoot, get that nigga out the way. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? So, for lack of a better term, I don't really care either. You know what I'm saying? They do go off on the Holocaust, but we know that's a bold-faced lie. It wasn't even that many Jews on the planet. Y'all ain't never. You ever looked at it like that? Did you look at that shooting like that? That's how I looked at it. That white on white crime.
But I look at everything like that.
I do too.
See them sympathizing about why we got F schools in the hood. Ain't no crackers dropping checks off in new books and donating to anything that's in our community.
Let's look at the difference. The Philadelphia Eagles won a Super Bowl. Them white folks tore the city up. Mike Brown got killed. Them boys told Saint they thugs that need to be locked up and killed. But this is acceptable for you to tear your city up because you won a game.
And it was straight crackers out there.
At the end of the day, a game.
Nobody got arrested.
Yeah, you ain't hear nothing about that.
A
You
game.
ain't hear about the riot squads out there.
Nothing. No National Guard. No nothing.
Why they sold up because they won?
Because that's what white people do.
And they make it acceptable.
Yeah, they push
Oh, they don't tear nothing up when they lose. But anybody who knows sports, when white people win a championship in their city, they finna tear their city up. Ohio State won a national championship a few years back. They tore Columbus, Ohio up. You know what I'm saying? See, these white folks in Jacksonville ain't gonna do all that. And they don't do this in every city. It's select cities. These people in Philly were getting ready. When the week they won the NFC championship game, they put Crisco on the light poles. Then when they got in the Super Bowl, they said, let us put hydraulic oil on the light poles because these people gonna climb up on the light poles and tear them down. When you see football games, they made collapsible goalposts because white people like to storm the field and shake the goalposts and bring them down. That's why the nigga talk about gun control. I don't want no gun control. Who trusts white people as being the only people with guns? See, other races of people might feel like that. Black people and Indians know better. Don't trust no white man with no gun. Shoot, all I got is rocks and he got guns. I don't trust that. Shoot, white people don't even trust white people to be the only people with guns.
Yeah.
Because they know they ain't right.
That's why they have so many.
That's why they have. So they see niggas really think they got a lot of weapons for black people, and they do, but they really got weapons for their own kind.
They know they don't kind
No, because they don't trust government. So they know one day the government is gonna send, and that's what they worried about. Now don't get me wrong, they got guns. But see, you gotta understand something. If you've been around white people, you know they don't really see you as that big of a threat. You know what I'm saying? Because they know you ain't really got nothing. What they scared of is the day you'll snap. Now that's what they really scared of. I've been treating you like a dog for 400 years. I know one day you're going to come for me. Now, they is scared of that. You know what I'm talking about? But just regular everyday life, when you hear them white people talking about taking away their guns, the government ain't going to take my guns. They're not going to know. We got to fight tyranny. That's what they say if you talk to them. That's how they describe it. Because they feel like the government will come and kill them one day. When Obama became president, that's the first thing they screamed. They're going to take our guns. Not because it was Obama, because they believe Democrats want to disarm the people. And they felt like he was suave and smooth enough to get that done. You know what I'm saying? They said the same thing when Hillary Clinton was running for president. She gonna take all our guns because they believe Democrats will take weapons away and Republicans will let you have them. When really both of them trying to take your guns away. Like the dude put out saying, how long are we gonna care about the NRA and not our kids? It's unfortunate that white children died, but boy, you better keep your guns. Don't you be no fool. Don't you trust Mr. Charlie to walk around here with an AK-47 and you ain't got nothing but a sling blade. Don't trust that. Because these white folks are already... Well, now, truth be told, and we don't really know this, in the majority of countries in the world, it's illegal to own a gun, or it is very, very difficult to get one.
And then places that you can't get one is limits. You can't just have no... You have like 2 registered to your name.
And that's it.
And that's it. You can't just keep going collecting, buying guns.
Buying ammo.
Like that with ammo too.
You can't do that. Like we already know, in the United Kingdom, nobody owns a gun. The police don't even have guns. The only people that have guns in the United Kingdom is the army. Most of the countries in the Middle East, nobody can own a gun legally. You know what I'm saying? And this is like that for the majority of the Eastern Hemisphere is like that. America is about the only country in the world where you can just buy weapons at your leisure.
And that's why they feel like the militias over there be funded by America because
where they getting all these guns from?
Just getting guns. How you got these side groups of people that just got guns?
Because they do fund them. The CIA funds them.
They can't buy them. So how you got a
there's a movie called Something Mr. Charlie with Tom Hanks in it, and it talk about how they funded those Afghan people in the 80s. Because Osama bin Laden was funded by the United States government in the 80s. And they were fighting against the Russians, and the Afghans didn't have that type of weaponry.
Yeah, where they get
The U.S. government was getting it to them. That's what they got caught with, selling coke in the 80s with Oliver North. They were selling coke for guns for Nicaragua. They don't have that. Where did these poor people get AK-47s from?
Yeah. Bed sheets on with AKs.
Kira said a white dude posted that he believes that white people are genetically, mentally ill. Oh man, I did see a professor in North Carolina, He did an intense study, and he found out through his research, this is his research, I'm not saying he's wrong or he's right. He said the world would be better if you exterminated all white people, and he lost his job. Yeah, they fired him. Governor know what I'm talking about. This is a real story, black dude. He said when he began his research, that was not the conclusion he was looking for, but upon finishing his research, that's the conclusion he came to. You know, but that's a hard thing to say. I have a scientific evidence to say the world would be better if we kill all of y'all. But you know what's crazy? White people feel that way about us. They tried it and they failed. Same way how the Egyptians tried it and failed. Same way how Herod tried it and failed. So you can't kill us. See, I'm going to ask y'all another question too, because now that I'm thinking about it before we proceed. When you think about loving somebody, do you think it's an action, a feeling, or a commitment? Go ahead. Start right here. We'll start with you. Go around the room.
Like action, feeling, and commitment.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a commitment.
Go ahead. You feel like it's all three? Go ahead, D. Go ahead, man.
Action and commitment.
I think it's all.
Go ahead, Monte. What about you? What about you? What you got, Glover? Is love an action, an emotion, or a commitment?
Oh, it was a great question.
Huh?
I didn't have that.
You all the time that love is action.
Love is an action and commitment. It's not a feeling. It's an action and commitment. It's not a feeling. Because you can't feel. See, when people say feel love, I feel love. You felt love because of the action, committed action of the individual. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that you necessarily feel because love is not an emotion. How do we know it's not an emotion? Deuteronomy 7:5.
So what would you say is commitment?
That feeling is something that most of the time that what we be feeling is something that it made me feel good, but that's all it is. Like I just seen Will Smith talking about that, and he was right. He said nobody can make you happy. They can make you smile, but they can't make you happy. Happiness comes from yourself. Nobody can make you happy. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen people who they say they love their kids, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? Because of their actions. But when you love somebody, you committed to them. The reason why I mention this here is because what we finna read in Deuteronomy. Because you can love somebody and not like them. The reason why I mention that is because when most people, when that feeling passes that they feel like is love, they leave. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm not happy, and they go to the next person looking for that feeling. Exactly, because what are people looking for? Because they selfish, because they looking for that, I'm not happy anymore. I don't feel like this or that. And usually what that is just the butterflies you had when you first started talking to somebody. But them butterflies ain't going to be there after 20 years. After 20 years, you know this nigga inside and out. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be like how that lady said on another professor, don't be farting at the table, Cletus. She already know this nigga like to fart at the table. If you looking for that feeling, I'm just going to leave you because you already farted. You already know this nigga gonna fart at the table. You waiting for him to do it. You know what I'm talking about? Now you done messed yourself, and now I got to get your drawers cleaned, and you know what I'm talking about, to bring you a fair pair of drawers.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a feeling from the action. It's all three. I feel. They all work together.
No, it's not a feeling.
You feel the action.
Because somebody can make you feel like that without loving you.
Say exactly, because somebody, that's the whole point. Somebody can, that's exactly how women get got. I can make you feel like I love you, and I
It's
don't.
definitely action.
It's an action and it's a commitment, because once you make the decision that you're going to act to show love to somebody, then you have to be committed to continually doing it. This is why people separate so easily, because they haven't committed. This is why people separate from the word, because you haven't committed yourself to doing it. That's what I was talking about the other day. If you be with somebody, they gonna get on your nerves. You know what I'm talking about? You may not want to be around them, but because you love them, you just need to go in the other room and calm down, because we're gonna work this out. But how do most of y'all done seen, I don't feel the love anymore, so I'm finna leave. And then when you hear what they got a problem with, nigga, you tripping. You know what I'm saying? Because you looking for that feeling, that emotion, but emotions are temporary, they fade. That's how life's supposed to be. A marriage is not going to be peaches and cream and love and cakes every single day. It's real life. You know what I'm talking about? It's real life. And you're gonna have, ain't nowhere in the world you, just cause you love somebody, you're gonna see eye to eye with them every day. You're gonna agree with everything they do or everything they say. And then, it's not gonna happen. This is not real life.
The marriage or that legit say they don't argue, and I'm just trying to figure out how.
They may not
I gotta like fight or argue, but I mean.
They may have disagreements, but it may not explode to an argument. They may disagree. Well, that's not, I don't believe that. I don't believe that because you ain't gonna agree. You're not gonna agree with everybody. No, I don't believe that. You might like to say it could be something as small as what you cooked tonight. I ain't want that. That's a disagreement. You may eat it anyway, but this ain't what I wanted, and I'm just letting that be known.
But yeah, argument though.
It doesn't have to progress to an
Yeah, I
argument.
feel like you can have a relationship without an argument though. Yeah, but I feel like we ain't never been in no argument. Like,
But see, it depends on what you call an argument, because some people call an argument getting loud and heated, and some people call an argument as having a disagreement and voicing that.
no, I
think he's talking about.
don't. I don't consider that an argument.
Yeah, like.
Technically, it's an argument, but we look at
I just
it.
look at it as a disagreement.
But technically, it's an argument because I'm arguing my side and you're arguing your side.
Is it synonym at that point?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's how a person's perspective. By definition, a disagreement where both sides are expressing their side, by definition, is an argument. But what we define the argument is people being loud or disrespectful to each other.
When you go to a debate, whatever the topic is, when they come to you, they say make your argument.
Make your argument. You know what I'm saying? But we define, I hate you, and you yelling and this, that, and the third. That's what we would consider an argument to be. And that's not necessary. Two grown people should be able to have a disagreement without it spilling over to that. You know what I'm saying? Does it happen from time to time? Yes, but you would hope that two people are mature enough that we can disagree without jumping down each other's throats. But it happens. It happens. Usually when you get into arguments like that, it's because emotions are running high. When emotions are running high, that's usually what causes that to happen. And if you know that after the argument happened, when you look in the face, we like to say, guess what? I'll sleep on the couch, whatever the case may be, but you ain't going nowhere. Don't pick up your phone and call your homegirl. Don't pick up your phone and call nobody. We'll sort it out on our own. You know what I'm saying? Because there ain't no need of that. Because guess what? All y'all done seen it. Maybe you done it. You talk bad about your nigga. Now your friends and your family don't like him no more. You ain't finna leave him. You know what I'm saying? So you should have kept it to yourself. Now you see some people like they what they call it is they venting. This nigga done pissed me off.
It didn't make sense.
All the time, but when you do that, it causes your friends or family to look at you differently.
I would never done that.
You ain't gonna call and tell them all
How can you do that?
tell
They do
them
that.
You don't only do it because you're angry and you want somebody to talk to. You know what I'm talking about? But no, some stuff though, keep it to yourself.
That comes with maturity though.
If you're not gonna leave,
Yeah.
if you're not gonna leave,
That comes with maturity though. Most people, young people.
Kids fight because the kids will be fighting and you jump in. You in the pants mad at each other and the kids playing.
you know what I'm saying? It depends what it is. Because some stuff you might need to talk to somebody about it. But if you're just talking about he get on my last nerve, girl, he like this here. She gonna sit back every time she see him. I hate that nigga. Spitting his food when she fixing something to eat. You don't know it. I'm just being honest though. Cause like I said, you married, we gonna fix. Ain't no divorce, ain't no leaving. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't no leaving. So shoot, we gonna go ahead and work this out. So just be mad. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna order something to eat. I know what you like, and you gonna be alright. You know what I'm saying? And when you calm down, we'll talk about it later. Now there's some things though, you know, you don't want to cross the line. That's cheating on somebody. You don't want to cross the line with that. Now the one thing I say that's not tolerable. Emotional abuse is not tolerable. Mental abuse is not tolerable. And physical abuse is not tolerable. And sexual abuse is not tolerable. Because believe it or not, niggas do sexually abuse their wives.
Nah, I see that more. I see that more. I feel like that happens more often than physical though.
Oh yeah. You got some niggas rape their wife. You got some niggas take it now. Some niggas take it now. Now the book say you supposed to give your husband due benevolence. So when he asks for a little bit of booty, you supposed to toot him up in the air. But you got some niggas that be like, she's like, baby, I don't want to. She might yield after a while. He just go ahead, you finna give me this now. That ain't cool. Even if you married, that ain't cool. If you gotta forcefully take it, nah. You, for some of these niggas, it ain't even about how I feel. It's the power rush. I'm taking this here, but then you got some women claim they like that type of stuff. You weird. Take it. What? I don't want no cases, baby. I can't do. Ooh, no. Oh no. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. Come on, man. Where we at? Keep on, Joe. We in Joe. Oh, Deuteronomy 75. Yeah. Come on, cause it's about 5 o'clock.
75?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that real though, man.
It says, but thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn down their graven images with fire. For thou art Kadash people unto Yahuwah thy Elohim, and Yahuwah thy Elohim hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
What did he say?
All the people that are on the face of the earth.
Go ahead.
And Yahuwah did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people, but because Yahuwah loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, and have brought you out of the mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Misraim.
You see that right there? Was that an emotion? Or was that an action, a commitment that he was embarking on? Because did he not stay committed to loving us? We disobeyed him. We served other gods. We broke every covenant. We didn't believe in him. So what did he do? I sent my son and hang him up on a tree and let him die for you to show my commitment even more. Because the reason why I'm showing this is because he had every reason to walk away. He had every reason to walk away, and he didn't do it. That's that mercy and the commitment. Because when I say that I love you, I love you. Do you know what I'm saying? Most people don't have that level of commitment to they only love someone as long as they feel. Or they only love someone as long as they serve my means or my ends. But then when things get ugly, you don't love them no more. How you stop loving somebody you said you would love forever? So how do you say you make a commitment by getting immersed in the name of Yahushua and then turn around and commit sin? That means you weren't committed to that love. Your heart wasn't fixed on it. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I'm using this analogy, because we need to be committed. Then when you know what happens when you're committed, you can yield yourself completely to his will. Because you committed. You fake. Like I said, right? I have never in my life cheated on a woman. I didn't see the reason why to do so. What was the point of that? If I'm committed to you, then I'm committed to you. Why would I entertain other hoes if I'm committed to you? That doesn't make any sense. And I ain't need no word for that. Just for me, that didn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? For me, that was a sign of disloyalty. Why would I commit to you and say I'm with you and you with me, and then I'm going to go over here and do this? If that's the case, I should have stayed a free agent and did what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? See, in the book of Hosea, what did he say? He said, I'll be for you and you'll be for me. You won't be for no other man. I'm committed to you and you committed to me. So you need to look at it in that aspect, because we want to be committed to everybody who's flesh and blood, but we don't want to be committed to him who is a ruach. You need to be committed. Because guess what? When we turn back on our commitment, it shows our character. It shows what type of mind and what type of person we are, because we're not true to our commitments. That means you're not a person of your word. Because the minute you said, I believe that Yahushua is the son of Elohim and Elohim rose him from the dead, you were committed to living to him from that moment forward. You made that commitment. Hold your commitment. That's why I say, when people don't be on time, it shows their level of commitment. Remember that the passage that we read out that book? You ain't going to want to do business with people who do that. So Yahuwah look at you being on time is, this what I tell you to do? This how I tell you to do it? Do it. Be committed to me fully. Not committed to me when you feel good. Look here, because I told y'all this before. Never let your emotions dictate your actions. Because if you let your emotions dictate your action, I guarantee you, you will make the wrong decision every single solitary time. If Yahuwah went off of emotion, the children of Israel would be no more. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. Because he'd have wiped us out. When he got angry, he said, I'm going to kill them all. But But you know what he did that for? Honestly, he would try Moses to see where Moses was at. How do we know he would try Moses? Because he said, "I'll make a great people out of you." But you know the promise and oath that I made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let me see where your heart at.
He ain't boasting his flesh.
He ain't do none of that. He say, but what about? He said, what about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? See, we ain't realize he was trying Moses to see where he was at. Because y'all already know what he said he was going to do. He going to keep his word. I'm going to raise up a seed to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I already told him this here. Let me see where you at, though.
So wicked niggas would be like, shoot, heck.
Shoot, 97% of the niggas you know in the word would have jumped on that. Let's bump it up to 99. You'll make a people out of me? Shoot, kill him. Kill him. Shoot, everybody know Moses. It's my seed. It's my covenant.
But niggas do him like that
Anyway, you see niggas cut niggas out just to preach. You know what I'm talking about? Like, so guess what they would have did if they were Moses? Who? All over the country. But these niggas don't care about nobody. What did Yahushua say? He said, I ain't chose. You say you ain't chose me, but I did what? I chose you. That means you ain't love me. I committed to you. I committed to you. That's why I want y'all to sit back when we look at love. It's an action and it's a commitment. Because it's a decision. When you look at that person and say you love them, then you got to ask yourself, what do you love about this person? You know, I used to ask women, what you love about him? I love him. You don't love this nigga. You lusting. You can't give me 5 things you love about this man. You can't tell me 5 things you love about this woman. Outside of just general stuff, to about her character, her personality. What is it that you love about her? Especially if you're married. If you can't give me 5 to 10 things that you love about your spouse, that's a problem. That's a problem. That means you married for sex. Or you married because you were lonely.
That's true. That makes the world go round. All this tooling.
Hey, but guess what? You ain't got to get married to get no booty. Shoot. Hoes give out booty every day like free candy. You ain't got to go down to the courthouse and spend $98 for no booty.
You can spend $9.99.
Shoot, you can spend $20 on Main Street right now. Right now. Jill Smith can tell you about it. He got caught.
What? Here.
Gil Smith. Nah, he got caught smoking crack. I used to see him cop.
Would have served him up, but
Nah, I wasn't selling dope then. I was a young nigga. I'd be like Jimmy Smith around here buying coke. He was tricking on Davis Street. Couple niggas. He was picking up a trick. What you mean? Yeah, Crime Stopper nigga. Yeah, I need me some more shoes. Crime Stopper niggas like booty too.
Well, yeah, that is.
Everybody like a little booty. Some people like it more than others. They locked him up too. He wanted to run for sheriff too. He ain't got to worry about that no more. He definitely ain't got to worry about that no more. Niggas thought he got caught on Davis Street. You know, if you on Davis Street, them boys around them. Johnny know what I'm talking about. You ride past Davis Street after 11 o'clock. So you see them prostitutes out there. Them ain't women. And it been like that since 2001. Them ain't women. Nigga get caught tricking on Davis Street, that nigga like plumps. Straight up. Nigga, straight up. Shoot, if a nigga get caught tricking in Jacksonville, you might need to check that nigga for venereal disease. Because ain't nothing but bases out there, nigga. Nigga around here tracing chicken with mole rats. But this is not Jackson. I mean, this is not New York City. This is not Chicago. This is not LA. It is not regular looking women out there on the track tricking. You ain't got no business tricking on the streets in Jacksonville, Florida. You're tricking with a basic. Matthew 25:1. Niggas around here tricking with basic.
ain't nobody staying. You looking around.
He like, hey, so ain't nobody gonna handle this for me?
No.
Somebody get him. Matthew 25:1. Let's look at this right here. Hold on, let's go back to Exodus 25 and get to verse 6. Pick it up at verse 4. Yeah, let's get to verse 4. Because I do got another character that we need to hit. It's 5 o'clock. Yeah, we ain't gonna get privacy together. We talk about sanctuary next week though.
Exodus chapter 25.
Verse 4.
It say, in blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair and ram skin dyed.
Paul, why would it be important for that goat's hair? The weather. No, I'm talking about they got to bring goat's hair into the temple or to the tabernacle of witness. He mentioned blue, purple, scarlet, and goat's hair. So why is the goat's hair important?
Fine linen and goat.
What did Jacob put on?
Put on the Esau.
Put on, but what was it? It was goat's hair.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Then, dang, Kira said when her cousin got killed last night. And then what else? And then what is a goat used for? Sacrifice. So you know that's a symbol of sacrifice. The scarlet is a symbol of what? The blood, and also you should know that red heifer. What color robe they put on the shit? We'll talk about the red heifer in a minute. We don't get into that.
Talking about the fine linen.
The fine linen, and then what is the blue? See, that's might be it. That's gonna be tough.
The priest, right?
That ain't the priest. The priest did have something like that, but that one they're gonna be tough. Not the tassels. Not the tassels on this one here. Anybody familiar with who Lee's son is named after?
Mordecai. Who is named after?
Yeah, Mordecai. So, in his story, what did he put on? He put on a blue robe. The reason why that's important, because remember we read about last night in Luke 23 that Herod put what on Yahusha? A gorgeous robe. That gorgeous robe. All this stuff is symbolic of the things that had to be brought in the house. Things that Mashiach had to do. Because remember, everything that we're looking at is offerings that have to be brought in here. That are going to be used in the house. So eventually going through this, we're going to look at the blue, we're going to look at the scarlet, we're going to look at the goat's hairs to see why. Because you know it's got to be a reason why he's telling you to bring this stuff in here. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why he's saying to people, if you want to make an offer willingly, that he's mentioning offering these certain things. The same way we looked at the gold, the silver, and the brass. It was to bring this into the house to be purged, to be used for the master, to be used in his household.
That you say goat's hair was symbolizing for Yahushua?
Jacob put on goat's hairs. A goat is nothing but a what? A lamb. Male version sacrifice. He had on the blue robe. The symbolize, just like he mentioned the priests do have blue. They got to put on their robe. It's for kingness. It's for royalty. This guy. Oh, that's a mean tumble. Go ahead. She's strong though. She took it. We still got to finish Joel 24 too. Go ahead.
It say, in ram skin dyed red, and badger skin, and shittim wood. Oil for the light, spices for anointing oil.
Oil for the light, right? Now let's go back to Joel 24 so we can finish this out. We're in verse 10. Oil for the light. So remember, the oil for the light is the sacrifice of Mashiach for you to be joined to Abba through Mashiach. And then when we look at Matthew 25, then we'll look at it a little differently than we may have looked at it before. Back to Joel 24.
And Matthew 25.
Well, not yet. We're going to cross-reference Exodus 27 again. We're in 24 and 10.
It says they cause him to go naked without clothes, and they take away the sheep from the hungry.
Listen what it say.
Which make oil within their walls.
Pause. What y'all think that mean when he said they make oil within their walls? Considering oil is the consuming of the blood of the seed, or consuming the blood of Mashiach. So what do you think he means when he said they make an oil within their walls?
Within their temple.
No, let's say he said. Remember, he talking about wicked people. So he said they make oil within their walls and tread their wine presses and suffer thirst.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
So remember, he talking about wicked people. So what do you think he means when he said they treading oil within their walls? What are he really telling you about in Romans 10, right? He said they have a zeal for Elohim, but not according to what? and they go about to submit themselves to their own righteousness and not submit themselves to the righteousness of Elohim. So what it is they making sacrifices that are for themselves. So they're trying to create their own oil to get their own spirit. They're not doing it. If anybody climb up any other way, he'll what? So when they say, now he said they suffer what? But Mashiach said anybody that come unto me will never what? Never thirst. So they're trying to go about it in a different way. They buck it. They're not doing it like he said to do it. They're doing it how they want to do it. What goes back to us talking about yielding to his will. And I'm not actually using the scripts that I did when I talked to them about that.
They taking themselves away.
They taking themselves away. But it ain't even less a thief, because you could carry your own self away from the word and not anybody steal you. Because your own lust, your own desires, and your own will is carrying you away from the house. Because he said they're making oil within their own walls. The oil was not supposed to be made within your own walls. So you can't go about this and do this on your own and do it your way. You have to submit yourself to his righteousness. His righteousness is his son. That's why he said you crushing up a lot of grapes and you still thirsty. You're still not satisfied. Because the book tell you in the book of Ecclesiastes that those who lust are never satisfied. He said those that lust after silver are never satisfied. You can never have enough. Which is one of the reasons why I tell you too, like, don't get married for sex, because that's a lust problem. And marriage don't fix lust. It don't fix it. Because lust is a heart problem. See, we look at natural things that we can do to fix heart problems. Fix your heart and the problems will be fixed. Put a band-aid on your problems and they will persist. Continue on, sir.
It said they make oil within their walls and tread their wine presses and suffer thirst. Men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded cried out. Yet Elohim laid not fire.
Now we talked about that. Yahushua groaned in the city. He didn't lay no fire on it. But we can't hear for verse 13.
It says they are of those that rebel against the light.
Who are they rebelling against the light? It's the scribes. They rebelled against the power of the head to be joined to the Most High. They rebelled against it. Remember what he said in John, they won't come to the light lest their deeds should be reproved. They won't come to the power or the strength of the head, which is faith, to be joined to the Most High. Because you can't get the Ruach by keeping the laws. That's not what he said. You have to believe on him as the scripture has said. See, I'll tell you like this here, right? If you sit back and you look at it, the book tells you the poor of this world are rich in faith. So if you run across somebody who has large faith, that is a very wealthy individual. You know what I'm saying? Because that type of wealth cannot be quantified in the natural means. It can't be quantified in that fashion. And that's why he said, though you poor, you're rich. Because these people were actually poor, literally poor, and afflicted poor, but yet they were wealthy. That's why he said, I know your poverty, but thou art rich. I know you lack, but you rich because you have the wealth that a man can't quantify. That's why he said, I counsel you to buy gold to be tried in the fire, so you can be rich. It's like there's nothing wrong if you want to have a little earthly rich, as long as you don't set your heart upon them like David told you. See, if you set your heart upon them riches, then guess where your heart going to be at? Where your treasure is, your heart will be also. Which goes back to you, that serpent, licking that dust up off the ground. You mind earthly things. Go ahead. Read that 13 again, though.
It said they are of those that rebel against the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof.
Listen to the next thing you say.
The murderer rising with the light killeth the poor and needy, and the night is as a thief.
And that's Judas, right? Go ahead.
The eye also of the adulterer waiteth for the twilight, saying, no eye shall see me, and disguise his face.
That's good, and that's the scribes and Pharisees that came when they came and got him nighttime, didn't they? Because guess what he said? They children of, they ain't come grab Yahushua the daytime. Why would it? They'd have made it, go ahead and grab him in the nighttime, because that's when the sinners move, when it's dark. Back to Exodus 27 and 20. That's what it said. They stole him. That's why it called Judas a thief. Because Judas was down with the people who were trying to carry the people away from the word. Or carry the people away from Yahusha? Yeah, read that 27:20 again.
27 what?
20.
20. Exodus 27 to 20. It says, and thou shalt command the children of Yasharah that they bring thee pure oil,
Beaten.
olive beaten, pure oil, olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always in the tabernacle of the congregation.
It said to cause the lamp to burn what?
Always.
That means it never stopped burning, right? Let's check that though. You can go ahead and tell them what that word is for lamp while I'm doing it. Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that what the word is for lamp?
Not the word for lamp is Nair. There's 3 characters in it.
Now you got the word for always is tamed, and that's simply continuous, never stops. Now you heard me say the word for lamp is Nair. So what characters do you hear in that? Nair. Correct, sir. The yod, yes, sir. Indeed. So looking at that, if it's the lamp is the seed, the hand, or possibly be a pair in the head. And also we can say arm, hand, the throat, the worship, or the deed. So if we sit back and look at the lamp burns always, in this instance we'll sit back and look at the seed of the head will worship always. The seed of so the lamp, the seed of the head worships always.
The seed of the heart.
Yeah, because the seed, you got that
Continual flow. And then you say, and what did Mashiach say? You must be what? So you will worship him what? Always. We read it last night. When he went into Shamahim, what does the apostles do? They worship. Niggas kill me when they say nobody worship Yahusha. What book were you reading? And that's why I told you in the aspect of how dudes get on a knee and propose to their wife, I would never do that. Because that's a sign of worship. I'm not doing that. We can read in the book what you got Hebrew niggas on the street right now let people bow down and kiss their boo. When you had a Malakim and Shamahim tell John, get up off your feet. When they bowed down and tried to bow down to Peter, Peter said, get up, I'm a man like you are. You know what I'm talking about? So that's the same token. You got dudes who want their women to get on their knees with them. Get up. You don't worship me, worship God. You know what I'm talking about? That's not acceptable, male or female. You don't get on your knees for nobody. You know what I'm talking about? Period. Especially don't get on your knees to beg for your life. Pull the trigger. You know what I'm saying? Pull the trigger. Because you know how people get on your knees. Shh. When the police be on that there, I'd be like, no, cuz you might well just go ahead and handcuff me right now. We ain't got no king to bow down to. He in heaven, so ain't no king. I ain't bowing down to Queen Elizabeth. I shake her hand. I give her a respect because the book tell me to do that. You know what I'm saying? You a king, a queen. Y'all put you there. I shake your hand. I ain't getting on no knees. You not my king. You know what I'm saying? You ain't my queen. I know you ain't my queen because you ain't my whore. I ain't got no horse, so I'm good. But straight up and down. Police be like, get on your knees. Shoot, tell your mammy get on her knees. I ain't getting on my knees, cuz. So now you're gonna have to pull. You might have to shoot me because I ain't doing it. I felt like that before the word. I ain't getting on my knees to no man. To no man. Period. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? People can feel how they want to feel. Bow down to no man folk. That's insane. So you see what happens when you receive the Ruach, how that took us back to Hebrews 8 and 7 through verse 10. When that Ruach is in you, his seed work. Let's see how his seed worship. 1 John 3 and 9, because I got time. Today I got time, cuz. Talk about how gangster are you.
So yeah, how gangster are you.
See, I told you when I seen you, I ain't had time for that.
Now you can go drop your jet off and run my fade.
And run my fade. Exactly. That white boy, I go hard, cuz. That white boy was wildin'. I wish they would have put the camera on. Make it 1 John 3 and 4. I wish they'd have put the camera on who he was talking to.
His jet was there though. Oh, he was holding his jet hand.
Cause you just got shake. Ain't nobody walk up and you talking about how gangster are you? You can run me my fade. That white boy was 80 pounds with 2 bricks in his pocket, talking like he was 6'3", 322 pounds. Oh my goodness. Come on, man.
1 John 3 and 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresses also the law, For sin is the transgression of the law.
Yes, sir.
And ye know that he was manifest to take away our sins, and in him is no sin.
Ain't none in it.
Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. Whosoever sinneth hath
See how
not
the
seen
seed of the
him.
right hand, they sin not. And guess what? He said he abide in him, right? So that's the strength or the power of the head joined together to the Most High. Go ahead.
Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. Whosoever sinneth have not seen him, neither known him. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For his purpose, the son of Elohim was manifested,
So they go to Shaman, the consuming the seed, the blood of the seed. Go ahead.
that he might destroy the works of the adversary. Whosoever is born of Elohim do not commit sin.
Why?
For his seed remaineth
So
in
the
him,
seed of the right hand worships always.
and he cannot sin because he is born of Elohim.
So the seed of the right hand worships always. Because if you worship, you're doing what? You're bowing down and you're reverencing. And reverencing is what? Fear. And what did we read last night? To depart from evil. The fear of Yahuwah is wisdom, and depart from evil is understanding. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. Yahushua was heard, and because he feared. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's where people probably come at. They don't fear God.
And
You-
do y'all remember what Nair, the word for that was?
Oh yeah, that was lamp.
I was just making sure y'all do.
So the oil make the light, and the light is in the lamp. So the sacrifice of Mashiach calls you to be joined to the Most High, which causes you to worship Him always. So that's what you think about when you see that oil, light, lamp. And that Exodus 27 and 20. The sacrifice of Mashiach causes you to be joined to the Father, which causes you to serve or worship Him or do His work forever. And now you can see why I say that lamp burns always. Because those who are in Him will serve Him forever. Because we'll end on why that in a moment. Matthew 25 and 1, so we can get out of here.
He said, I always do those things.
Yeah, no, that's a little different what I'm thinking about. But that is correct, though. Not definitely not wrong.
Matthew 25.
And 1.
It say, then shall the kingdom of Shemahim be likened unto 10 virgins which took their lamps.
Took their what?
Their lamps.
So guess what? So if they taking their lamps, what they supposed to be taking? They service or they work the Elohim, right? Come on.
And went forth to meet the bridegroom.
So they went forth to meet Mashiach.
And 5 of them were wise.
5 were what?
Were wise.
So if they were wise, what were they? What did they do?
They had their order.
No, they feared Elohim. And 5 were what?
Foolish.
Fool won't fear Elohim, but no, you know what the book say about fools on numerous
There
occasions.
is no God.
Say there is no God. Because if you commit sin, you said in your heart, ain't no God. That's exactly what you said. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what you said. Ain't no God. Say reprove a wise man and he'll love you. What he said he do happen if you do it to a fool? He'll hate you. You know what I'm talking about? He say reprove a wise man and you'll get a blot. He say don't reprove a fool, you might get a scorner in the midst of that. So these women here, these 5 virgins was dummies.
And they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
So if they ain't take no oil, what they ain't take with them? They didn't take the sacrifice.
I'm talking about, brother.
They ain't take the sacrifice. Not only that, they didn't take the seed that destroyed chaos. They ain't take that word with them either. See, that's what I say. Now the parable looks a little different. You know the worst part I see dudes with this parable is, see, Mashiach said something about he had 10 wives, so you can have more than one. That's what you got from that? All that information in there, and that's the only thing you pinned out. It was 10 women he was talking about. Probably ain't never sat back and thought about the 10 women could have been talking about the 10 tribes of Yasharal. They ain't never crossed their mind. Just thinking about this here. He had 10 women. He ain't got one woman, dummy. He was just using an example. Go ahead.
It said, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps.
So if the wise took oils in their vessel, they took the word and they took the sacrifice. I mean, if they take the sacrifice, let's just make it as simple as possible. They took the faith with them. So therefore, because they took the faith with them, the word is in them, which takes us back to what we were looking at in 1 John. They seed remain in them. That means that word to destroy that chaos remains in them. And I will say for full disclosure, because 2 of those examples, that's what they came up with when we talk about it. The destroying the seed, that was Shayla's. The consuming the blood, that was Shayla's. And the seed destroying chaos, that was Dee's.
I was looking at the
And Alicia's not here. She came up with a pair joined to the power that can't be stopped. Go ahead. Yes. That's your mommy? I know that. I thank you for reminding me. Go ahead. No, you finna say something. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm at 5. It said, while the bridegrooms tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him.
Go you what?
Out to meet him.
Go you what?
Out to meet him.
And what happened?
Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps.
So if they trim their lamps, what do? They lit them up. So if they lit them up with the light. What is the light? The power of the head joined together to the Most High, or joined the Abba. The power of Yahushua joins you to Abba, for simplest terms. So they had that. Go ahead.
It says, and the foolish said unto the wise, give us your oil, for our lamps are going out.
So now, let me ask you this question. If you got the Ruach, Shayla, could you give it to Stanley? Stanley, if you got the Ruach, could you give it to Nisha? That's how dumb they was, and that's how you know they were foolish. Let me get your power to be joined to Yah, so we can make it in. Not so fast, my friend. Go ahead.
It says, well, the wise answer saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves.
So who they got to go to then? If they say go to them that buy, that sell, they got to go to them who got the word, or whoever got the word. Because remember, say buy the truth and what? You got to realize when you preaching the word, you in the business of what? Saving soul means you in the business of selling. You selling the word. That's why he say come down. He say ho ho ho. Everyone come down to the waters and drink and buy what without price? Bread. Because the word supposed to be free. Remember how Paul say, I'm unchargeable you in the gospel? I ain't charging you for it. Peter came and let you know these men making merchandise out of you. You know what I'm talking about? You got men using the word to come up. Go ahead. He told you that about the scribes and the Pharisees. They were coming up off the people, balling on them niggas. Nice long fancy robes. Go ahead, man.
It says, and while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut.
It was what?
It was shut.
See, we ain't talking about it here, but we talking about it the other day, right? He got a key. Once he shut that door, you scarred. Ain't no getting in. So you have to look at it as right now is your opportunity to walk through that door. Once he shut it, you done. That's why he say seek Yahuwah in the time where he may be found. Because in the day when the waves come and all this stuff, then he can't be found. See, because they didn't have the word in them, and they didn't have the faith in them, and they didn't have the Ruach in them, they were running trying to go get it. It's too late now. The sky's done cracking. Every eye shall see him, and they shall wail because of him. It's too late now. It's too late now. That's why he say, hearken unto his voice while today is today. Don't sit back and think you got time. That man cracked that sky open, you're going to be just like them 5 foolish virgins, running to go get some oil for your lamp. It's too late, baby. You already had a chance to get your oil.
That remind me of Noah with the ark.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it don't go into great detail about that on his, about people running and trying to get right. Ain't no get right. You better already be right. Go ahead.
It says, afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Master, Master, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not.
Woo!
Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour when the Son of Man cometh.
Why would he say he don't know them? It's probably not. I'm thinking probably something probably what you wouldn't be thinking about. Why would he say he don't know them?
But they don't got the Spirit.
That too, but it's something we read last week and the week before that about them shepherds.
Oh, they ain't ahead.
They not mine. He said, I know my sheep.
My sheep come my voice and follow me.
And there no his sheep, his 5 sheep knew to go get that oil. Them other 5 ain't gonna get no oil because you weren't never his in the first place. Those that are his will hear the word and hearken unto it. Those that are not will not, and they will perish. 1 John 1 and 3. And after that, Revelation 22 and 1, and then we'll call it a night.
1 John 1 and 3. It said, that which have seen, have heard, and declared we unto you, that ye also may have fellowship with us. And truly our fellowship is with the Father and with the Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. And these things write we unto you, that your joy may be full. This then is the message which ye have heard of him, declare unto you, that Elohim is a light, and in him is no darkness at all.
Ain't no sin, ain't no unbelief, ain't none of that in him.
If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not in the truth.
If we're not doing the truth, that means we're not keeping the faith.
But if we walk in the light, as he is in the light.
So if we walk in Mashiach, as Mashiach is in the Father, then what?
We have fellowship one with another.
Now you commune with him, you join to him.
And the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, his son, cleanses us from all sin.
Now your sins are forgiven, which takes us to see how we got the oil for light and all of those things of that nature. Because see, if you don't do the shaman, if you don't sit back and get the oil, which is the sacrifice of Mashiach, to cause that seed or that word to destroy the chaos in you, then you can't be joined to the power that can't be stopped. So therefore, you won't be able to produce the light, which is the power of the head, to join you together to the Most High. And you wouldn't be in the lamp, because he talked about that lampstand, right? And he also told you that lampstand, he would do what? He would take it from you if you didn't obey. So therefore, now you're not the seed that worships Elohim forever. And now we end with Revelation 22:1 with the seed that worships Elohim forever.
It says, and he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb. And in the midst of the street of it, on either side was the river, and there was the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielding her fruit every month. And the leaves of the trees were for the healing of the nations.
Yeah.
And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of Elohim.
So if there's no more curse, then what it mean is gone. That means ain't nobody around there on their belly licking up no dust. See, all us at one time were on our belly licking up dust because we lived for the world and the things that were in it. Go ahead.
It says, and they shall see his, and there shall be no more curse, and the throne of Elohim and the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him.
His servants are what?
Serve him.
So the seed of the right hand will worship or serve him forever.
And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their forehead.
Go ahead.
And there shall be no night there, and there shall be and they need no candle, neither light of the sun, for Yahuwah Elohim giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever.
So if they give him light, then they guess what that means? They join to him forever. So hallelujah for Yahushua. We'll start right there. Hey, Sire.